A year ago, a miraculous comeback by the 49ers at home. They beat North Texas 39-38. Could we have some more fireworks tonight? Stay tuned. Is the plan as we welcome you to ESPN College Football presented by Dr. Pepper. From Apogee Stadium in beautiful Denton, Texas, the Mean Green of UNT getting set to tangle with the Charlotte 49ers in a Conference USA clash. Well, it's a picture-perfect evening for college football. Great to have you with us, as always, on what's already been a wild day of college football. Again, Kelly Stopper, Roy Philpott. If you love offense, Kelly, you found the right game tonight.
Yeah, I think you are at the right game. And both of these teams, I think this is the potential. Both of these teams think this is the game that turns their seasons around. We'll see how it plays out.
Well, the Mean Green led by a quarterback who's 27 years young, a former pro baseball player in Austin Aune.
I love this story. Austin Aune is realizing there's a lot of difference between throwing from the shortstop position on the diamond and inside the pocket. And so look for him today to really play better than he did last week in that in-game experience. And he's mature enough to know one thing: find number one with the football, and that's his big play receiver in Jalen Darden. So many times this year, Roy, there have been opportunities vertically just missed by a little bit. I think Aune will be better at getting the ball today to Darden.
Darden, 6 touchdown receptions this season, one of the leaders in that category in college football so far. Meanwhile, for the Charlotte 49ers, led by a former walk-on signal caller in Chris Reynolds. This is a guy that does a little bit of everything for them.
Yeah, and I love walk-ons. And Chris Reynolds is a guy that they tried to replace at quarterback about 4 different times, but guess what? He's on a record pace so far in his career, but he's really the point guard of this offense. He has to distribute the football and make good things happen, and one of the best things that he can do is get the ball early and often to Victor Tucker, his wide receiver. Tucker is a bigger wide receiver. You can see him all over the field. He runs routes between the hashes. He's also a very good catcher of the football, but he's that guy that can have a massive game in volume touches. We'll see if Reynolds can get the ball to Tucker early tonight.
Second all-time meeting between these two schools. Last year it was 39-38. And both programs in search of their first Conference USA victories tonight makes this game all that much more important.
And I think what's important, Roy, is both of these teams have to get off to a quick start. That's one of their nemesis so far this year, is they've gotten behind early and it hasn't worked well for them.
Jonathan Cruz set to kick things off for the Charlotte 49ers, dressed in the all-white road unis, North Texas. The home all blacks, the green trim. Every kickoff by Cruz this year has reached the end zone for a touchback. That trend continues. And away we go here in the booming metropolis of Denton, Texas. 40 miles north of the Metroplex, downtown Dallas and Fort Worth. So our first look at Austin Aune, 27 years old, 6 years playing for the New York Yankees baseball organization. Stayed in the minors, originally signed with TCU. Cup of coffee with the Arkansas Razorbacks. And now here he is, right across the street from his hometown of Argyle, Texas. After Charlotte won the coin toss and deferred, here comes UNT. DeAndre Torrey in the backfield, play action, and the first down toss is complete. No, they're really incomplete. It hit the turf up at the 30-yard line. It'll bring up 2nd and 10.
And an early run pass option out of Aune. And 6 years playing baseball and not playing football is a long time. And so Aune is getting used to playing this game again. It's vastly different, obviously, than the game of baseball.
On 2nd down, they'll roll Aune out. Receivers open. That's a first down. Jalen Darden, his first reception. And that'll move the sticks. A good start for UNT. Johnny Pittman in coverage, ushered him out of bounds.
You're going to see out of North Texas is they have a good play. They want to go as fast as the game will allow them to go tonight.
Tempo, tempo, tempo. Inside give, a short gain. 1, maybe 2 yards. It'll bring up 2nd and long.
Remember, Roy, that Seth Luttrell, the head coach here, is calling plays again, and he comes from that Baylor Art Briles school of ball. Massive splits. Spread the field as wide as you possibly can. Sometimes it almost looks like the wide receiver is out of bounds, and then it's tempo, tempo, tempo.
DeAndre Torrey straight ahead. 3rd down and long upcoming. Romeo McKnight met him right there at the line of scrimmage.
Charlotte's defensive coaches told us that North Texas loves to live around the 3rd down and 3 to 5 area. They want them to be in 3rd and long just like this, and this slows them down, North Texas offensively, just a little bit, and then pressure can be dialed up by Charlotte on the defensive side.
4 wideouts on the field. 3rd down and 8. Ani retreats off the back foot. Darden has it. That's a 1st down and a lot more. Jalen Darden into plus territory. Upended at the 30 by Lance McMillan. UNT in business on that huge pitch and catch.
And fantastic recognition early by Ani. You talked about it. He threw off his back foot because he had to. It was 3rd and long, pass situation. Charlotte, their foundation defensively is to get after the quarterback in pass downs, and that was one. Ani recognized it and got it to his playmaker Darden early in this game.
Gain of 32 yards on 3rd and long. Inside handoff, first touch for Trey Siggers. Recorded a $131 last year on the ground against Charlotte back in the Queen City. He was stopped by Marquise Watts, who's back from injury. And the tempo on display early. Darden, 3rd grab, 1st down. Drive continues into the red zone as McMillan stopped them again.
And you talked about the tempo. In order to go fast, you have to be successful on early downs. You run it decently on 1st down, and then it's an RPO out to Darden on 2nd down.
Siggers straight ahead. Upended by Tyler Murray. Last catch was by Deontay Simpson, far side. He's another explosive player for this Mean Green attack.
So there you see the 1st down run again, and it was not that successful. And so now you see Ani backing up a little bit, looking over at his head coach, play caller Seth Luttrell, taking a little bit more time between plays.
Jet sweep action. Ani keeps it. And tiptoes down the sideline inside the 15. Ruled out there as Murray made sure he couldn't gain another yard. So 3rd down upcoming, opening possession of the night for these 2 explosive teams.
And Ani is not the quarterback option runner that we're going to see on the other side of the field out of quarterback Chris Reynolds. But he can be a little nifty like he was on that last play to get a little bit.
Texas needs 7 yards here. We don't think this is going to turn into a field goal kicking contest tonight.
No, I do not believe that at all.
On 3rd down, here's Ani. All kinds of real estate off the pump fake. Could not make the line to gain. Sent out at the 15. It was Tyler Murray again. Outstanding angle and approach there.
And that was it. Tyler Murray from his outside linebacker position. Once Ani didn't have anything in the 3 wide receiver set to his left, he starts to run. But he's not the runner that Reynolds is. Reynolds isn't even that fast, but he has a good understanding of the option system, and Ani isn't quick, isn't asked to run it a lot, and Tyler Murray just runs him down.
So here's the junior out of Fort Worth, Ethan Mooney, 1 of 2 on field goals this year. A 32-yard attempt from the right hash on the way. And Mooney missed it. Hooked it left, and the Charlotte defense with a big stand on the first possession of the night.
Yeah, a huge stand early because that drive was in rhythm early. Good play calling by the head coach, Seth Luttrell. And I think Ani was in control, but it all funnels down to the red zone and it all funnels down to 3rd down. And in that case, Charlotte found that one play. Tyler Murray chasing the quarterback out of bounds on 3rd down.
Well, it's been a wild day of college football.
Crazy time
in the Lone Star State today. You think about what we've already seen. Texas A&M upset Florida at home down at Kyle Field. We saw Oklahoma survive in
4 overtimes.
4 or 5 overtimes as you see Will Healy for the first time, his 2nd season, the 49ers. And we expect more of the same shenanigans here tonight.
I think shenanigans is a word. That's a good word for what we're going to see tonight.
Our first look at Chris Reynolds, former walk-on, now a redshirt junior from right there in Mocksville, North Carolina. Trey Harbison, transfer from Northern Illinois, is the running back. They'll send the receiver around on the jet sweep. And no gain on the play as Deshaun Gaddy brought him down to the turf quickly.
Well, you talked about Chris Reynolds is a former walk-on, and he was that guy that, and I've been around walk-ons. My roommate in college was a walk-on. I love them to death, what they have to go through to just play the game. But Reynolds was that guy that they were always trying to replace. And then Will Healy gets there in this spread option offense that really fits what Chris Reynolds does best. And he's a shifty baller, as we call it on the playground, and we'll see how he plays here tonight.
It's Michaelius Elder that picked up a yard on the jet sweep. 2nd down and 9. See less tempo out of the 49ers compared to UNT. As Reynolds flings it deep into plus territory, nearly picked off. Elder was blanketed that time near the 47. It'll bring up 2nd, make that 3rd down and long.
And so you're going to have a desire to run it, and then you're going to see the bootlegs, and sometimes the naked bootlegs like we see right here. And Reynolds doesn't have the arm strength to throw off a platform, meaning he doesn't get his feet set, and that's why that ball came up just a little bit short.
There's Quinn Whitlock in coverage, 3rd down. Seven in the box for the Mean Green. Chris Reynolds had changed the play.
Only 3 down linemen. We're going to see that all night.
We've seen that a lot in college football, it seems like, to start this season. On the swing pass, good enough for a 1st down. There is a flag on the field at the 37. We'll check the penalty.
I think it's going to be a delay of game.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
It was McEachern that made the reception, the freshman. And instead of a 1st down, they're going to move the football back all the way down to the 15-yard line.
And the back judge came in and threw that. And there is that little grace period when the back judge looks at the clock, sees it go to 0, and then has to throw the flag. So sometimes there's another little second and maybe a 2.5 seconds that the offense typically gets after the clock expires, but not there.
Well, this is not a good sign as K.D. Davis, leader for this UNT defense, slow to get it up off the turf. So a timeout on the field, just underway here in Denton. We'll step aside.
How y'all doing?
ESPN College Football is presented by Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville.
Charles Edward Green, better known as Mean Joe Green, 4-time world champion, Hall of Famer, 10-time Pro Bowler, and yeah, he played his college football right here in Denton, Texas with the Mean Green. K.D. Davis helped off the field moments ago, coming off a career-high 14 stops in the loss last week right here against Southern Miss, and not a good sign. He banged into one of his teammates, Kelly, Devontae McCray.
Yeah, definitely collateral damage. Number 2, McCray coming from the right, and K.D. Davis was hustling to the football as he normally does. He was the leading tackler a year ago, is set to be that already this year. He's the consummate leader on the defensive side and really of this program. And so that would be an enormous loss nonetheless.
New quarterback for Charlotte on 3rd down and 14 is Dom Schaffner. Probably the more athletic of the 2 quarterbacks, according to Will Healy and offensive play caller Mark Carney. And around the left side, ushered out short of the line to gain a quality pickup. That's going to force a punt for the 49ers as the defense stood tall for UNT, and it was Upton Stout, the cornerback, the freshman, that forced him out of bounds.
Yeah, and both defenses getting off to a much better start than they've played this year. Both defenses have been decimated by COVID protocol and injuries and all of the above, and been short-handed to say the least. But so far so good in this one. And when Don Schaffner comes in, that's typically what you're going to see. You're going to see more of a designed quarterback run as opposed to the spread option that we see out of Chris Reynolds.
Jalen Darden back deep to receive this Connor Bowler kick. He punts it away from the 15 under duress. Darden lost the handle for a second. There is a flag on the field, and I do believe Bowler may have been contacted.
And it's 3rd down and 4, so it really doesn't matter. It should be a 1st down.
Costly
For
mistake.
Charlotte, absolutely. The special teams haven't been good for either one of these teams, but right off the edge, the punter is taught to keep his leg in the air as long as he possibly can, and then he's also taught to be an actor, as Buller was at the end.
That was Kason Martin, the third-team quarterback, I believe, that forced the contact, if you can believe that. North Texas went back to the drawing board this week after a special teams collapse a week ago here at this very same venue against Southern Miss. So not a good start in that department. And you know what, Kelly, we've seen a lot of that this year.
And it's
in college football.
The lack of preparation, I think, and the lack of bodies sometimes, the lack of depth, especially in G5 programs. When you have so many guys missing, special teams are going to be where the damage takes place.
Calvin Camp, the new running back for the 49ers, as Reynolds retreats and fires a pass high looking for Rico Arnold. That'll bring up second down.
You know, Roy, to finish that point about special teams is where your depth shows up in your program. And so if you have a lot of guys in contact tracing and whatever COVID protocol or injuries, then the first place you see a lack of quality play is special teams. And then the lack of preparation, you take reps away from special teams sometimes in practice to teach newcomers the concepts on the offensive defensive sides because they have to play. And in the end, we see very poor special teams in college football early in this season.
Thompson in motion. McAllister, the running back. As Thompson on the quick out pattern will pick up a couple. Cam Johnson credited with a stop in that sequence.
And both of these teams talked to us extensively about the importance of the run game. Establishing the run offensively, taking the run away defensively, because the run is the building block to the other things that both of these offense wants to go to. And so you set up the run, you establish the run, and then you go vertical pass game, because both of these secondaries tonight can be tested in the perimeter pass game down the field.
Charlotte needs 7. And the design quarterback keeper, Reynolds, stopped after picking up a yard by Caleb Howe. Nothing doing on that play. Number 34 was ready and waiting.
And that was the design quarterback draw. You send a receiver in motion or the running back, empty backfield, and then Reynolds looks out to that motion back, and then it's always intended to be a draw right down the middle of the field, and it didn't work very well.
Fifth-year senior Caleb Howe thwarts that drive. There's Connor Bowler once again. So the penalty does not end up costing North Texas. Bowler turns this one over beautifully as Darden retreats, and that'll take pitching wedge bounce. Whistle dead at the 10-yard line. So Bowler does his job. We'll step aside. Almost halfway through our first quarter. Still scoreless here in Denton. Scoreless ball game back in Denton, Texas. 7:42 remaining in a fast-moving first quarter. Kelly Stoffer, Roy Philpott, as we take a look at this week's college football playoff rankings, brought to you by Goodyear. And what strikes you here? I mean, you know, we talked about it earlier. A&M upsetting Florida. That was an entertaining game earlier today. Interested to see what Clemson and Miami do tonight. But right now, it looks like Clemson's kind of doing what they typically do.
What they do. And look at Alabama and Nick Saban and Kiffin tied at 7 so far. That could be an interesting one.
It's always fun when the Lane Train and his elder statesman Nick Saban get together.
With the Lane Train, it's always fun regardless of what you catch him doing or saying on Twitter, by the way.
That's correct. Straight ahead give. That's Siggers. He gained a 4 on first down.
Are you kind of getting the rhythm of this game so far offensively for North Texas? First down run. If it's successful, we go faster, and it could be an RPO right here on second down.
Head coach Seth Luttrell calling the plays, what he loves to do. Time for Ani. He'll buy a couple of more seconds, and across his body, incomplete, looking for Jalen Darden.
And that was a pretty good throw, but what Seth Luttrell comes from, really, we talked about the Baylor influence wanting to go fast, but there's also a threat of the air raid influence in the pass concepts that you're going to see. So there's a bunch of stuff going on, but Seth Littrell took over the play calling. Graham Harrell is at USC, and so last year was the first year without Graham, and it didn't go all that well. So Littrell is back calling plays. They're minus Mason Fine in his 12,000 plus yards throwing and 90-some touchdowns. So they have that to replace as well.
Play action on third down. And that time, it's receiver. Bit off target, Ogun Macon. Unable to catch up with that deep ball, so 3 and out for North Texas.
And that was the first time where I don't think Austin Ani really saw the coverage well. Ben DeLuca was the middle safety, and you don't stare down a skinny post with a middle safety because the middle safety is reading the quarterback's eyes, and DeLuca had nothing better to do than to break on the ball, and if that would have been accurately thrown, DeLuca would have picked it off.
Bernardo Rodriguez gets it off, and a fair catch made at the 48 for Charlotte. Deontay Simpson, the fair catch, and so on the exchange of punts, a 55-yarder for Cameron Bowler moments ago, and now Charlotte the beneficiary on the short punt by Rodriguez.
And the special teams snafus almost continue there. Rodriguez was very fortunate to actually get that punt off. So mark that one in your book because Charlotte will come after Rodriguez once again.
I am marking that down in my book.
Bernardo Rodriguez almost blocked punt.
Got it. Make sure everybody at home who's scoring is doing the same thing.
Do you keep a book at home during a football game? I think that's a thing, right?
Maybe. 49ers get it back. Pressure for Reynolds, and lucky to get that football away under heavy duress by Tyreek Davis, who's back after missing the last 2 games, number 5 in all black.
Yeah, welcome back, Tyreek Davis. He's going to come slicing off the edge. And the receiver that was coming down is Ringwood, the hybrid tight end, was supposed to cut off Davis, but you got to get him a little more effort than that because you almost got your quarterback's helmet planted in this turf.
And that's got to feel good for number 5. Missed the last 2 games.
No doubt.
Back on the field, feeling healthy. Good vibes. Under 7 to play in the first. Inside give will bring up third down and long after a gain of 2. As Harbison picked up the yard, stopped by Howe.
And Charlotte offensively is not built to live in third and a pass down because North Texas is going to get after them, as we already saw Tyreek Davis, number 5, get after the quarterback once. And remember that Chris Reynolds is a 5'11" quarterback that throws a little sidearm. And so if you get clutter up in front of him, he has a hard time getting the ball through that line of scrimmage.
Tucker in motion, held without a reception so far. Operating out of the slot this time on third down. There goes Reynolds. And floats it to Ringwood. Tyler Ringwood with the reception, still rumbling. And finally brought down inside the 30. Well, that's 6'3", 225 pounds. He'll keep the drive going, Kelly.
And this is where Reynolds is at his best, is extending the play. This is why I called him a baller. He's that guy at the YMCA that you don't really like that much, but you want him on your team. He's actually what I've heard about you playing basketball, to be honest with you. He's that baller. He just always seems to get it done, and Chris Reynolds is getting it done typically when he's getting outside the pocket, outside of the play, and then you count on Chris Reynolds to make impeccable decisions when he does that.
That decision led to a 23-yard gain as Ringwood catches his 4th pass of the season. 49ers suddenly in business. And handoff. McAllister. He's sandwiched between 2 defenders. It was Dion Noville led the charge that time for UNT, and he's slow to get up.
North Texas on the defensive side is going to play that trending defense where they play 3 down linemen, they play 3 safeties, and then the middle of that sandwich can be a lot of things. It can be multiple linebackers. Last week, every snap defensively for North Texas had 6 defensive backs on the field because the linebacker room was dinged up, and so we'll keep an eye on that, but it's the trendy defense in college football currently.
Dom Schaffner on the field, lines up in the slot. The second-team quarterback, a little trickeration coming. He's going to throw it. There's Reynolds, and how about that? The Charlotte special for the touchdown. And the 49ers on the board first here in Denton.
The Super Bowl Philly special has become a lot of things, right? And we just saw Charlotte's version of it. The backup quarterback Schaffner is going to get the ball on the double pat or the double reverse, and nobody is taught to check the quarterback running out for a route when it was the quarterback that touched the ball initially. That was well designed, and obviously the result was outstanding.
Jonathan Cruz on for the point after. A little trickeration to start our night in the Lone Star State. That's been a common theme today across college football. Cruz solid with his PAT so far this season and rips that one through. And our new score, 4:34 remaining in our first quarter. The Charlotte special. And a touchdown for Chris Reynolds.
Welcome back to
remaining in our first quarter. Excuse me.
Go ahead, you take it away.
7-0 Charlotte with the lead, and just as we all expected, Dom Schaffner threw his first touchdown pass of the night, right?
Yeah, and the quarterback, Chris Reynolds, has to do a little bit of acting here. Act like you don't have anything better to do, knowing full well the backup quarterback Schaffner is headed your direction to throw you the football. And Roy, here's a lesson for you. Anytime that two quarterbacks touch the football on the same play, typically good things happen. And there's an example of it right there. But right now, Charlotte has to find any way to close out drives. They've been poor once they penetrated the 50-yard line at actually getting points. There's a good start for them here this evening.
Charlotte's only played 2 games before tonight. Contest against North Carolina called off at the last second. And we talked with both coaches this week, and they actually told us you get to Thursday and then Friday, and you have that last round of COVID testing. And that's when you can finally take a deep breath and suggest to your team, hey, we're definitely going to play.
And if we play, which game plan do we have to go with? Because we might not have any linebackers. We might be down to just a handful of offensive linemen. It's amazing what these programs are having to deal with.
Cruz continues his trend of touchbacks. It's Austin Ani get the football at his own 25-yard line. What an odd, strange trip it has been to go back here to Denton. Originally signed with TCU out of high school. Played 6 years with the New York Yankees organization, mostly single-A baseball. Then with Arkansas for a cup of coffee in 2018 in spring ball. Made his debut here in Denton last fall as a backup quarterback for the Mean Green.
Pretty sweet story. The one thing I heard from him that really resonated with me is he said, I've learned to rebound from failure. In baseball, you can go to the Hall of Fame hitting 3 out of 10, failing 70% of the time. So that's what I'm trying to bring to this game. And quite frankly, a roster surrounding him that's considerably younger than Austin Ani is.
7 in the box, Ani to the air, looking for his running back and floats it high and incomplete. Good coverage in the flats by the 49ers.
Well, if we're going to see tempo out of North Texas, if they can find the rhythm on a drive, we're going to see pressure out of Charlotte defensively. Marcus West told us yesterday they turn up the pressure when the other team tries to go fast.
Play action. And down the sideline, the pass will be hauled in by Jalen Darden. How did he catch that?
Lion number 8 was press coverage at the line of scrimmage, but it's the separation right at the end. It's the subtle little extension of the hand. Don't get called for offensive pass interference, and then go find the football.
Fake it to Torrey. Play action again. And another catch for Jalen Darden. That's his 183rd of his UNT career. Now moves him into sole possession of 4th place all time here at North Texas. After a gain of 8, run straight ahead, will keep the sticks moving.
Austin Ani told us that when they have some nice plays, they go to what they call their gas series, which simply means step on the gas, and they're scripted plays that they can run one right after another. We're seeing it right here.
Play action again for Ani. Will get to the edge, throws on the run. Another first down far side. And the reception by Deontay Simpson, his second of the night.
And it was a great adjustment. That was going to be a fade route. The defensive back's playing over the top, so the receiver breaks it off and comes back and gets the football.
Plant cut by DeAndre Torrey, stopped at the 7. Anton Williams got him.
And this will be tempo all the way down unless there's a personnel change, and you see North Texas going to a heavier set as we speak.
Injured player is Marquise Watts. Expected him to see about 25 snaps on the field this evening. He's been banged up. Arguably the best player for 49ers defense. Top pass rusher out of Gaston, South Carolina.
And he just got back. He had 9.5 sacks a year ago, coupled with Alex Highsmith, another defensive end that's playing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Together they had 23.5 sacks. And Watts hasn't played, Highsmith's in the NFL, and this team, Charlotte, that had 36 sacks a year ago, came into this game, game number 3, 0 sacks.
That's a bit of an issue.
Yeah, that is. When it's a pressure 4-2-5 concept and you're founded on pressure and you have 0 sacks, that indeed is an issue.
Charlotte, of course, off of its first bowl season in school history last year. Bill Healy, a first-year head coach in 2019, leading that effort. North Texas trying to go bowling again for the first time in a while. Win tonight would certainly be a step in that direction. Siggers straight ahead as he plunges to the 5. He'll be stopped short of first down yardage. It'll bring up 3rd down and short. That was Luke Martin, wearing number 49 tonight for the 49ers with a tackle, preventing the first down. Third and a long 1. Here's Siggers. Needs to cross the 5. Boy, he snuck through there at the last second. If he can make it to the 3-yard line, that would move the chains. I'm not sure if he got there, Kelly. 4th and inches.
I think you maybe call the same thing. You take a little more time, but in the end, you get up there and run a very similar play. Maybe a quick count.
Ani under center, power set. And Will Healy going to utilize a timeout here, I believe.
Timeout, Charlotte. That's their first 30-second.
Well, hard to believe. Coming up next week, we're all ready to LSU and Florida live from the Swamp. And a rivalry that dates all the way back to 1937. They've split the last 4 meetings. Tigers trying to get something cooking after losing earlier today. It's next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific on ESPN. Also, the ESPN app, and a pair of stunning setbacks.
Whoa.
The two teams that still are really good, and we think that Florida is still going to have a chance to win the SEC when it's all said and done. A tough road loss at A&M earlier.
I think Florida can score with anybody. I just question Todd Grantham's defense currently in Gainesville. Just something looks a little bit off. And you were talking about Dan Mullen requesting a full house in that game. Is that what you heard?
So here's the deal. In Florida, the governor has provided clearance for all venues to operate at full capacity. Dan Mullen asked for it after his press conference today. On 4th down, there's Siggers. I think he was stopped short. Let's see where they mark it. Needed to get down to the 3-yard line. The initial spot indicates the Charlotte defense held. That was Luke Martin that got there first to pound Siggers down. First down, 49ers.
Short yardage situations from an offensive line standpoint is all about your landmark and staying low, and you can't see many of the Charlotte defenders covered up right there, and that's not a good thing in short down situations. Siggers is that power element in the run game for North Texas, but that was horrendously blocked up front by the offensive line in North Texas on that one.
Tyreek Harris getting penetration. 49ers all over those two running plays. Yeah, full house perhaps next week at Florida. We'll see if that's what happens. But to answer your question, Dan Mullen asked for it. His post-game press conference. University of Florida officials. Ringwood in motion. Charlotte takes over. Reynolds, crafty maneuver, has a man. Hauled in at the 46-yard line. That was Victor Tucker. First catch of the night for number 9 in white, and he killed UNT a year ago. Going to try to do it again here this evening.
And that's what Tucker does best, is go up and high point the ball and finish well on it, clear at the top. Quinn Whitlock is chasing Tucker, and that's not a good thing because Whitlock started in press coverage. And we actually have a penalty, I believe, on that play. We didn't see or hear the mic by the official, but that play is coming back. But that's how Tucker has to be utilized tonight. Get off of press coverage, which he's going to see a lot of, and then go make a play down the field like Tucker did right there, even though it's all for naught.
Rodney Burnett is our referee tonight. That flag was hidden somewhere deep in Charlotte territory. I'm going to call that an ineligible downfield pass. It's Tykees Crawford too far down the field. So instead of 1st and 10 at the 46, on 1st and 12, Tyreek Davis with a tackle and a short gain for Charlotte.
In a backed up situation right here, this is where Mark Carney, the new offensive coordinator for Charlotte, has to trust his decision maker, Chris Reynolds. Typically, they want to get Reynolds outside the pocket, a lot of times to his 3 wide receivers, which are to the top side of the field to the left right here.
For a 1-yard pickup, Cameron Dollar in motion. Charlotte, the touchdown lead on the road. McAllister left side, nothing doing. Dion Novell, the tackle.
Neither team is really running the ball all that well, and that's certainly what you need in a backed up situation. 2nd and long, you want to try to get a little bit of room so you can throw the ball on 3rd down.
That'll be the final play of our first quarter, the only points of the night on a trick play. 49ers with a lead on the road in search of their first conference victory of the season. Off to a good start. The defense also leading the charge. The junior from Mocksville, North Carolina, the former walk-on, has 2 brothers, 2 sisters. Had a rather unique way of staying in shape during the summertime quarantine process. He actually raced a horse.
Oh my Lord.
If you can believe that. I think it served him pretty well. His younger brother Jack is a wide receiver, plays at Davie High School. He's actually committed to the 49ers program. They think he's going to be pretty good. And Jack said earlier this summer after committing to head coach Will Healy, it's been his dream to catch passes from his older brother playing college football. Pretty special stuff. Back to live action. 49ers lead it by 7. Kelly Stopper, Roy Philpott. 3rd down and 9 as Reynolds operates again deep in his own end zone. Off the back foot, wide open is Ringwood. He's got the 1st down. Nifty move ahead to the 29-yard line. So 2nd reception for Tyler Ringwood. Chris Thornton brought him down, but not before the drive continues.
And Reynolds getting outside the pocket once again, and Ringwood started on the line of scrimmage to the right and comes all the way across on what they call an over route into that void right there. And it was well designed, and Tyler Ringwood is that type of receiver. He's really kind of a wide receiver slash tight end, kind of a hybrid player, and Reynolds knows where to find him.
After a gain of 24. Pressure, Reynolds floats it, McAllister catches it. There he goes. Another Charlotte touchdown. Out of the backfield, it's Aaron McAllister, the fifth-year senior. And a 71-yard pitch and catch reaches pay dirt. 49ers lead it by 2 scores.
You spread the field hoping that the defense takes the middle defender out of the way, and you see that nobody in center field, so it's a foot race between McAllister, who started in the backfield, and a linebacker, and Aaron McAllister has explosive return type of speed, and that play worked amazingly well.
How about the touch on that pass from Reynolds? And a great catch by a running back deep down the field, no less. Jonathan Cruz bangs home the extra point, 14-0. Just underway in our second quarter. Couple of big plays for the 49ers offense. Aaron McAllister, his first touchdown of his senior campaign in the Queen City. Well, a fun start on the road if you're a fan of the 49ers. Chris Reynolds to Aaron McAllister from 71 yards out moments ago. And McAllister, Kelly, former defensive back, switched over to running back about 3 years ago, and he tracks this one down almost like a center fielder on that long touchdown grab. That was a lot of fun to see.
I remember that the defensive coordinator, Cliff Bowman, from North Texas, said that he doesn't really want McAllister to get many touches because he has that unique combination of being a power back in the box, but also an explosive runner speed-wise, and that's exactly what that design was all about. He starts as if he's in position to carry the ball between the tackles, and he slips right by the linebacker that's in man-to-man coverage and catches it over his shoulder into the shirt pocket nonetheless as a running back.
Yeah, Clint Bowen told us number 5 scares me more, quite honestly. Cruz, and another kickoff through the end zone. He remains perfect in the touchback category this season. So now North Texas with some work to do at home. Their 4th straight home game to start this season. And for Austin Aune, trying to get his first win as a starting quarterback here. He trails by 2 touchdowns.
And you see the lack of continuity at quarterback, I think, is hurting this team currently. And I think Austin Aune has the skill set to do really good things. But remember, he doesn't have a lot of in-game experience after 6 years of playing baseball, and he's back. He's learning the game again in the pocket and the nuances, but you have to be consistent in order to drive the football and get points.
Off play action, Jason Pirtle ahead to the 30, making the 31-yard line. Ben DeLuca with the tackle. Here comes more tempo.
Yeah, tempo, and the lack of run game so far North Texas has really hurt them. I don't know that they can be efficient enough, consistently enough in the pass game.
On second down, another grab for Jalen Darden. He'll pick up the first down. So Austin Aune, 27 years young. They call him dad, sometimes grandpa in the locker room, which you can understand. But how about it? You sign a deal with the New York Yankees, what, about $1 million signing bonus?
Think he has any of that money still?
My guess is no.
No?
I know I would, but that's just me.
You definitely would.
Darden in motion as Torrey plunges straight ahead. And a short pickup on first down, stopped by Tyreek Harris.
Yeah, Harris chased that play down from his defensive end position. So if you're running zone away from Harris, you got to get a hat on Harris on the backside, or he's going to do that all night long.
Nifty move by Torrey. Sidesteps 2 tacklers into plus territory. The Mean Green in business ahead of the 46-yard line.
And nifty indeed, and that's what Torrey brings to the table as opposed to Siggers, the more power element. There's the explosiveness, but it's the quickness and it's the shiftiness in the hole.
For gain of 16, again, straight ahead, another first down. What was that you were talking about with a ground game for this team?
Yeah, when Seth Luttrell here at North Texas runs for $160 or more, he's 16-1. And they haven't ran it well until this drive we're seeing right now.
Great stat on your part. They'll fake the handoff. There's Darden into the end zone for the touchdown. Mean Green on the board for the first time tonight. Jalen Darden, touchdown grab number 7 of the season.
That's who North Texas is offensively in a nutshell when Seth Littrell, the head coach, is calling the plays. It's a little run-pass option. It's explosive runs, what we saw on this drive, and then they don't go for the next first down. They want a touchdown, and if they're throwing vertically, they're going to number 1 Darden, and that is exactly the way Seth Littrell wants his drives to look this evening, and quite frankly, the rest of the year.
Well, North Texas, almost 600 yards of total offense per game this season. Top 5 in the country in that category. Finally on the scoreboard tonight, and it's a 1-score game.
Yeah, and Torrey is running it, and then it leads to the vertical pass game, Ani to Darden. And football is hard to play, but it's quite simple schematically, to be honest with you. If I'm running it well, you're the defensive coordinator, you have to do something about my run, or you're going to just bleed slowly throughout the evening. And you add more to the box. When you add more to the box, you're vulnerable outside when I have someone like Jalen Darden, because you can't cover him, press coverage at the line of scrimmage, and that's exactly what happened on that play.
And there have been some missed connections with this team in its first 3 games. That did not occur there, and that's an encouraging sign for Darden and especially for Austin Ani.
Run it well, throw it long.
You get a little love from your head coach on the sideline. That's a good feeling. You know about that.
I love it when my head coach is also the play caller and hangs out with quarterbacks.
So Charlotte gets it back, now leading by 7. If you're just tuning in, some creative play calling for the 49ers, notching their first 2 scores.
And this is more who Charlotte is offensively. It's more creative, designed in order to get points. It's the double reverse, one quarterback throws it back to the other quarterback, and then it's get a power speed back in the backfield, create a one-on-one mismatch on a linebacker, and then drop it over McAllister's shoulder into the shirt pocket. One team scores a lot of times by creative design, and North Texas drives the football, setting it up with the run, and then you add guys to the box. I'm going to go over top of your head outside to Darden.
Harbison, the running back, he'll get the carry. I mean, there's a little bit of gamesmanship going on there with Will Healy and with Seth Littrell. They're very good friends, and in fact, they spoke every single day this past week. But for Charlotte to score on its first 2 plays in that manner, I think there's going to be a little trash talking perhaps later on tonight.
Yeah, before the night's out, regardless of who wins, Seth Littrell and Will Healy, and it's highly unusual for coaches on opposite teams to talk to each other during the week, let alone every day as head coaches. That's bizarre.
Yeah, they're very good friends. Will told us this week that he actually considers Seth to be a mentor of his.
I don't even talk to you that often during the week.
I mean, it wouldn't work out if we did. That's just too much. Harbison, powerful run. It'll bring up 3rd down and short. At one point, Seth told Will, we ought to coach together up in the box at some point in a game where we play against each other. And Will said, no, I can't do that. You're the play caller. I'm the guy that gets everybody geeked up. 3rd down play coming up. Reynolds keeps it and somehow gets the first down. And you want to talk about intangibles. It's kind of plays Chris Reynolds makes for this team going back even to last season.
Yeah, Tariq Davis actually wasn't fooled. He just made a bad tackle. Number 5's coming off the end. It was a quarterback zone read, and it should have been a give by the quarterback Reynolds all along, because Davis was bearing down on him, and then it's the shiftiness. Reynolds isn't going anywhere particularly fast. He's just going there in a shifty, productive kind of way, and that's what you saw in that play. A lot of trading and shifting and motions, a lot of smoke and mirrors before the ball snap for Charlotte.
What about the swing pass to the freshman? Instead, there goes Reynolds. He slides in safely, and they'll mark him back at the 33-yard line. But a nice gain on 1st down as the pocket broke down.
And Charlotte is just simply better offensively when Reynolds has the ball in his hands. You think of a point guard in basketball, that's who Reynolds is. Nothing about that play in the end was designed. It was a bunch of things to the right and to the left, and nothing's there, and the quarterback kind of has happy feet a little bit at 5'11", and then, oh, by the way, gets a productive play on first down.
Three-man front for the Mean Green once again on 2nd and 4. Harbison, a jump cut. And then triple teamed as he's taken down after a very short gain. Caleb Howe led the charge for the Mean Green, number 34 in black.
But Charlotte has funneled this drive down to 3rd and certainly makeable. But now what are they gonna design? Because they're not running the ball in the box all that well. They've scored 2 touchdowns by creative design. So now on 3rd and about 3.5 or close to 4, we wait and see what the design is here.
Play clock winding down. Thompson in motion on 3rd and short. Reynolds floats one. Was it caught? It was, and the drive continues. But dancing on the sideline was Victor Tucker. Somehow got a foot in bounds to keep the drive going.
The question is going to be whether Tucker gets his feet down. He gets pummeled in the middle of the back. That ball is high, takes him off the ground a little bit, but I do believe that Tucker got his feet down. I think the replay booth will probably stop this and take a further look at that one.
It's got to be indisputable video evidence. As most people know by now, you need 1 foot down in college football plus possession of the ball.
Yeah, it's certainly firm possession, and then it's a body part in bounds, and then an act common to the game. Possession, body part, questionable, and then you have to possess it, in this case, all the way to the ground without the ball theoretically moving. Does he have possession when firm possession when he is in bounds? That's the question.
Well, that ball moves around after contacting the turf out of bounds. And that's a tough call. The original ruling was the pass was complete.
So you're questioning whether it was the act common to the game at the end going to the ground. I think replay is probably looking at that and whether there's a body part down. That's the firm control, yes or no? I think maybe yes right there. I think the toes down, and then is there possession to the ground? It certainly moves. And what they call that is maintain control as he lands. An act common to the game, whatever the heck that means. But in this case, it's a receiver tiptoeing, possession going to the ground. I'm not so sure.
Please reset the game clock to 9:01. 9:01.
Well, we didn't get in on that call early enough to know which part they overturned it with.
For me, the ball moving as he hit the turf, there was too much movement to indicate clear and total control at that juncture.
Yeah, and I do believe the receiver, Tucker, had possession and had his toes down, but I think you're right. It was the last part. It was the act common to the game. In that case, it was possessing it all the way to the ground out of bounds, and you saw the ball move just a little bit. Great effort nonetheless.
No doubt. So a big stop for the Mean Green defense. Connor Bowler checks back in after a 55-yard effort. His last punt turns this one over beautifully to Jalen Darden. And Darden steps out at the 22. Good one here in the heart of Conference USA. Under 9 to play in our first half. We got a 1-score affair. Well, you know it's coming. 14-7. Charlotte leading North Texas back here in Denton, Texas. Game 6, NBA Finals tomorrow night. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific over on ABC, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. And I'm just going to say it a couple of times. Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Butler, Jimmy freaking Butler. This guy is a triple-double machine. He is keeping Eric Spoelstra and the Miami Heat in this series. They got a
No
chance to
doubt.
force Game 7.
I just wonder whether he has enough in his tank to do that again. And oh, by the way, one more time after that if he's successful in that one. But what a performance thus far.
I mean, he was almost perfect last night in that Game 5 win, lifting Miami. I think Danny Green would love to have that open look back top of the key. Here's Alcinotti off the back foot. Fires his strike ahead to the 31. Nafis Lyon in coverage with the tackle, but a nice gain on first down for the Mean Green.
Early first down success means tempo if you're Seth Littrell, and that's what we're going to see out of North Texas right here.
So after a gain of 6, handoff straight ahead. Marquise Watts is checked back in, and he tackles Trey Siggers.
You know, Watts once again chasing the zone run down from the backside. You have to block that, or you have to block him with the quarterback reading that defensive end, and North Texas did neither right there. And they're third in their wheelhouse, though. 3rd and 5 or less is where North Texas wants to live on the offensive side.
So the pass was caught by Ogunmakin. Siggers straight ahead, quickly to 3rd down. Nifty cut at the line of scrimmage, and this drive's going to stay alive as DeAndre Torrey, well, he's got a little extra burst in him tonight, doesn't he?
Yeah, there was a whole lot of clutter right there in the hole, and Torrey has very quick feet. He's explosive. We were told that, and that quickness is what helped him right there. Quick feet and vision.
At 82 yards and a touchdown burst last week against Southern Miss. Alcinotti floats one. There's Darden. He's wide open. Jalen Darden tiptoes down the sideline, and momentum carried him out of bounds. Otherwise, that's another 6 points.
It was the secondary move once Ani, the quarterback, got outside the pocket. Lyon, number 8, had the coverage on Darden early, but then didn't see the quarterback get out the pocket, and Darden got down the sideline.
Boy, he is fun to watch. Torrey powers ahead inside the 15, stopped at the 14 by DeLuca. So Darden picks up 45 more yards, and he has been on fire to start this season in every sense of the word. Now over 160 yards through the air already tonight. Quick strike, Darden again. Who else? Double team, lasso down. Darden's caught 7 touchdowns already this year. He's tied with Kyle Pitts for Florida for the lead nationally.
You know, he reminds me of, even on that last punt return, he reminds me a little of Waddle at Alabama. You know, that sharp cut, plant of foot, change direction. A little bit of that. And he's in the slot to the top side right now, and we know that Charlotte wanted to keep someone on top of him and then help over the top. We'll see how they do it as North Texas is once again down deep in the red zone.
3rd and 5. Looking for Darden. Double coverage. That pass was doomed from the snap.
4th down, and North Texas is going to elect to get points. But watch 28, DeLuca drop down from the top. Right there. That's the help that Charlotte wanted to keep. There was outside pressure with Williams on the press coverage, but the safety, DeLuca, was coming down hard on that slant route that Darden ran.
Ethan Mooney checks back in. 0 for 1 tonight. Miss from the same distance. 32 yards on the right hash back in the first quarter. And this time misses it wide right. So Mooney's 0 for 2. That's a huge story in a 1-possession game. And he looks at his head coach, Kelly, and he says, you know what, that was my bad. And yes, it was.
Yeah, no one else kicked that ball and just pushed it a little bit from the beginning. And Seth Littrell told us, you know, that it was one thing with the decimation on the defensive side where you're basically didn't have any linebackers last week, but it's the special teams where you have a lack of depth because of COVID protocol and injuries and so forth. But your special teams have to come through, and Mooney has whiffed on 2 of them so far. Nobody wants to miss a kick, right?
As a former kicker, I can assure you that that is in fact the case. We catch a lot of flack from a lot of people. In that circumstance, obviously, it's warranted. McAllister off to the races, and there he goes. Already a big play through the air, this time on the ground. Ushered out short of the 30 in plus territory. And number 5 in all white is crushing it tonight on the road.
Defensive coordinator Clint Bowen told us this. I'm scared when number 5 touches the ball, and this is why. He has the power to run the zone inside, but then he has the ability to bounce it outside, and then when he does, he's a sprinter. He has sprinter speed with that 220 between the tackles. That's a lethal combination.
That's a gain of 46 yards. Remember, he had the 97-yard kickoff return against Appalachian State about a month ago. That kind of explosiveness, extremely valuable. I don't care what league you're playing in. Calvin Camp gets a touch. Calvin Camp off to the races. Tripped up short of the 10-yard line. Another first down. It was Cam Johnson that brought him down. 49ers rolling.
And the pre-snap motion, first it's Tucker, and then it's going to be McAllister, and it creates a play where in the end Camp has out-leveraged the defense. And so Reynolds' decision is just to pitch it out to Camp, who already is outside of the defense. You have blockers outside because of the motion, and then Camp gets on the edge.
Last 2 Charlotte carries, totaling 67 yards on this drive. Now it's Harbison's turn, straight ahead. There was a crease. He barrels his way ahead for a gain of 7, maybe 8 yards. So you go McAllister, then Camp, now Trey Harbison.
And then you go with a little bit of tempo, and you have a scat back called Chris Reynolds that is your quarterback.
Tempo for Charlotte. Harbison tries to get to the edge. He cannot this time. And in fact, he'll lose a couple. Mikhail Sanders with a tackle for loss.
And this is where Charlotte has to be better. They've scored by design so far. A negative play on second down puts you into third, and probably need to get Chris Reynolds outside the pocket. But we talked about the shenanigans that we're going to see tonight. We've already seen it out of Charlotte. You might see it right here.
2 teams played a year ago back in the Queen City. It was 39-38. Second all-time meeting. Close one so far tonight. Dante Armstrong sets up on the far side. He'll serve as a blocker. There's some real estate and an easy touchdown for Trey Harbison. Pick your poison in the backfield tonight for Will Healy's club. McAllister, Camp, Harbison, all on display on that possession.
And this was all about formationing. We saw the formation before where Armstrong went across and reset, and then he slashes back to the left. It's called a slice zone. He's going to block the backside, and then it's a hat on the hat to the right, and Harbison takes it in the end zone.
Third score in as many games. The grad transfer from Northern Illinois, Trey Harbison, a North Carolina native. 21-7, our new score.
Well, you know what Charlotte has? They have a gaggle of running backs, and they all know how to finish like this. This one happens to be Trey Harbison. The result's the same, and North Texas is behind once again.
Third touchdown of the season for Trey Harbison, graduate transfer from Northern Illinois, the North Carolina native. As we take a look now at our Fansville College Football Update, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. A couple of upsets, and in fact more than just these 2, but your reaction in seeing Mizzou and A&M prove victorious.
Kellen Mond needed to step up. I called Texas A&M overrated because I hadn't seen their quarterback play well in a big game yet, and that's what it looks like right there. And the result is Jimbo Fisher gets a win that I think he quite desperately needed.
Florida defense comes into question from our perspective as well. They have been porous to start this season, but Kyle Trask has been tremendous. We'll see which direction the Gators can go from here. Kelly Stoffer, Roy Philpott, just north of the Metroplex here in the Lone Star State. Charlotte, 2-touchdown advantage on the road. All right, Austin Aune, North Texas, back on the field. Your kickers missed 2 chip shot field goals. At this point, the end of the first half, what are you looking for?
You really need more of the same. The scoring drive was run successfully combined with going vertical when the defense loads up to stop that run, and they can't cover Darden outside in press coverage. And when you load the box, you're in man-to-man. So more of the same, but you got to finish. It's not about what you don't get points going between the 20s. You get points hopefully making field goals, but ultimately you want touchdowns.
Play action, Aune, dangerous toss. Darden corrals it, and a gain of 3 on first down.
And Charlotte is turning up the pressure, especially on first down, which is their personality, but they want Aune to have to hold the football, even in that run-pass option that we saw right there.
9 receptions already for Jalen Darden tonight as DeAndre Torrey pushes forward. Stopped by Tyler Murray. It's going to bring up third down.
Charlotte defensive coordinator Marcus West, remember they told us that we have to keep them out of third down and 3 to 5 yards, and guess where they are once again, right in their wheelhouse.
That's Luke Martin, the injured 49er. That linebacker spot. He has been active tonight for the Charlotte defense. Wear the number 49 because he represents the culture at the highest level for Will Healy's program. Normally number 17. It's designation that they give week to week to different players, so always an honor to wear that number. And third down and 1 coming up after this injury timeout. So we step aside here in Denton.
Number 49, Luke Martin, the injured 49er.
And we'll keep it here after Martin hopped up quickly. Good news for Will Healy.
And he's one of typically the 2 linebackers in this 4-2-5 that Charlotte likes to run, and he has to be a volume tackler in the typically the middle of that offensive formation.
Returning to play, third down and 1 from the 30.
So Martin off the playing surface. Both teams back on, and here we go for third and 1.
I would test just where Martin came out.
A gap. A collision in the backfield, and I don't think so. Ben DeLuca with the initial contact, and that's going to bring up fourth down.
And I think it is a little bit too early for Seth Luttrell to go for it in this situation. And DeLuca was the safety that comes off the right edge, and he comes a little bit late. It's a zone run right down Main Street where Luke Martin just vacated. So you have a new player at middle linebacker. You run right at that spot, and you're tackled for a loss by a safety.
End over end punt. Take a UNT bounce. The 49ers will take over. First and 10 after this timeout. Head coach for the Charlotte 49ers, Will Healy. Quick rise through the ranks going back to his days as wide receivers coach and recruiting coordinator at Chattanooga for the Mocs. The head coach at Austin Peay got the Governors the playoffs, if you can believe that, in short order. And then almost 2 years ago named the head coach of the Charlotte 49ers, and in year 1 directed a winning campaign and a bowl season, the first bowl trip, the FBS level for the Charlotte 49ers out of Conference USA. Kelly Salper, Roy Philpott. And Charlotte takes over first down from its own 23. Good start on the road. Charlotte looking for its first win of the season as Harbison's hit hard. Wallach crossing the 30. Gain of 8, and that was Tyreek Davis that tattooed him. Harbison checks out. All the Charlotte running backs have been impressive tonight. McAllister caught a long touchdown. Harbison scored on the last possession for the 49ers. Here's Reynolds. Nifty pass across his body, brought in by Elder. That'll move the chains.
Yet not recommended consistently, where a quarterback is moving slightly out of pocket to the right and throwing back to the left to Elder. But you can't really do it, if you're going to do it, any better than Reynolds did right there.
Chris Reynolds did not have a single scholarship offer at the D1 level coming out of high school. Catawba College liked him. They played Division II.
Catawba.
And that was it. So he walked on at Charlotte. Elder again, second grab in as many plays. Scampers out of bounds after a gain of 12. That'll move the chains once again.
Well, Reynolds was that guy that at quarterback you just couldn't get rid of. It isn't like Charlotte didn't try to do that. He started 6 games in 18 until he broke his ankle, and then didn't even start the first start under Will Healy. And yet the system fit him, so after game number 1, he comes in relief, and he's been starting ever since, and I'm pretty sure they found their guy.
And their guy has 2 timeouts to work with. The clock stopped going out of bounds in plus territory. 49ers try to be greedy here at the end of the half. McAllister the handoff, lassoed down from behind at the line by Larry Nixon, who's back after missing last week. And a timeout going to be called. 32 ticks of the clock remaining.
I think this is a great place to try to get something done. Now you have 1 timeout if you're Charlotte, 32 seconds left. The key here, Roy, is you have to trust your decision maker, because you want all of the upside of trying to get points going in to the half right here, but you don't want any of the downside, meaning bad decision, give up a turnover, give the North Texas points they didn't deserve, that type of thing. But so it's all about Mark Carney, the new offensive coordinator this season, trusting Chris Reynolds, and I believe he does.
We asked Mark Carney, how would you describe your leader for this offense and for this team? And an unofficial tally, he used the word special about 17 times in 30 seconds. Special player, special teammate, special leader for this program. And in fact, Will Healy told us you can't build a program without a guy like Chris Reynolds, and that really speaks volumes about a lot of the intangibles he brings to the table.
Yeah, and he doesn't bring the skill set, so that's why people tried to overlook him most of his career until he found a fit in Will Healy's offense that we see right now.
Out of the timeout, Reynolds wants it all. Fires that pass deep and out of bounds, looking for Rico Arnold. Coverage was ample.
Upton Stout outside, the true freshman, was on Arnold, and Arnold, for some reason, stopped running. You don't like that if you have what you want. Press man outside, you have a vertical and a receiver that you like, but Arnold gave up on the route.
3rd and long, 26 seconds remaining in the first half. Dollar in motion, off the play action. Reynolds bottled up and driven down. Devontae McCray got him, the redshirt sophomore out of Miami.
That's not a bad play to not throw the football away. The clock will probably run out, but I would think that North Texas will force Charlotte to try to at least get this punt off. But what you don't want is a bad decision in that situation. So cover up the football, take the sack, try to punt the football away.
Their first, 30 seconds. Please reset the game clock to 15
You can see how
seconds.
Chris Reynolds
15
breaks
seconds.
down in the pocket fairly quickly, because he's 5'11", and I don't think he sees it real well. So if his first or second look isn't open, that's where you start to see the feet move a little bit, and he's looking for the escape hatch.
You sent me a text probably on Tuesday of this week watching Charlotte play their last game. It was a tough loss at Florida Atlantic last week. They led 10-0. Had a devastating 3rd quarter, ended up losing by 4. But you compared Reynolds I want to say to Doug Flutie, he's got kind of a little bit of that in him.
Don't you see that?
I do, because of the height and everything else and the way he scrambles around.
And if we're at the YMCA playing basketball, I pick Doug Flutie as well. The same way I would pick Reynolds. He's a baller. He just makes things happen. And about 48% of it is outside of the design. I mean, Doug Flutie did that all the time. I don't know that Chris Reynolds is actually 5'11", by the way, but what was Flutie?
I mean, he was 5'10"-ish.
Ish, yeah.
Bowler will kick it away. And North Texas will get it at its own 20. About 9 seconds to work with, and they'll probably be content to run out the clock.
From the North Texas 25.
Do have an injured Charlotte player at the 45. Leland Faison Walden walks off under his own power.
And so that last sequence for Charlotte, when they didn't have much time left, had a couple timeouts, was not a bad sequence. You had the possibility of something good happening and getting points. In the end, that didn't happen, but you trusted your quarterback to make good decisions. In the end, your bowler punts the ball away, and all things in with no harm.
So North Texas trailing by 14. Will run it with DeAndre Torrey. Harris stopped him. That'll be the final play of our first half. The Mean Green, nearly 300 yards of total offense. Osanani throws for 200, and yet only 7 points on the scoreboard. A good start for Charlotte on the road in search of its first win of 2020. And the 49ers will get it first to start our second half. A little trickeration and a lot of fun here in Conference USA. Halftime in Denton, Texas. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Dr. Pepper. Start of our third quarter in Denton, Texas, and the Charlotte 49ers on the road, leading UNT 21-7. Great to have you with us. Great night for college football. Roy Philpott, Kelly Stopper, as we take a look at our first half highlights. And Charlotte really got the ball rolling early. A little bit of trickeration to set the tone for the evening.
Brilliant offensive design, very creative. The double reverse pass. Schaffner, the backup quarterback, finds Chris Reynolds for that touchdown. And then it's McAllister starts in the backfield. He's a sprinter out of the backfield, runs by the linebacker, and Reynolds drops it in his front pocket for a big play. And then Darden had 10 catches, actually 9 catches in that first half, but didn't do a lot of damage other than that one touchdown pass.
Jalen Darden, as advertised, you mentioned the 9 receptions, over 160 yards, the 1 touchdown grab, the only one of the night for UNT. And Charlotte's going to get it first here to start our third quarter. So the 49ers looking for their first win of the season, their first league win of the season. Let's see if they can keep Uncle Mo on their side to start the second half, Kelly.
Yeah, and I think this drive defensively for North Texas is vital, because North Texas has made a habit of getting behind in games and not really being able to come back. And the defense needs to come up with something right here, because 21-7 is already a pretty decent hole to dig out of.
At quarterback to
Chris
start the
Reynolds,
second half for the
effective,
49ers,
efficient,
number 3, Chris
buck 44
Reynolds.
through the air in the first 2 quarters. And he has spread the wealth for this Charlotte offense. Dollar in motion. And they'll flip it out. Taylor Thompson stopped at the 30. Charlotte without the services of Christian Roberson and Ryan Carrier tonight. And there's a flag on the field.
Yeah, a late flag. There was a scrum that broke out clear down here, away from the play in front of the North Texas bench.
Face mask. Defense number 2. 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Vontae McCray, the guilty party, and a costly penalty. A miscue to start this third quarter.
Yeah, that was a nice defensive start for North Texas. And this is the kind of thing that Seth Luttrell has been so upset with. It's been a lot of, as he says, shooting ourselves in the foot. And that's what getting shot in the foot looks like right there.
UNT also without the services of its leading tackler, K.D. Davis. Left the field in the second quarter, doubtful to return.
Yeah, that's big time right there.
Appeared to be a little bit of a hip issue. Was hit hard by McCray, who was just penalized. Harbison, penetration, and he's sent down at the line of scrimmage. Caleb Colvin for 93, the tackle.
Charlotte hasn't been all that successful running the ball on early downs. They were just more successful in situational football, red zone and on third down in that first half.
Colvin walking off a bit gingerly, perhaps favoring that right arm. Charlotte coming in 0-2, losses at Appalachian State and Florida Atlantic. North Texas won its first game against Houston Baptist, was outscored by SMU, and then last week kind of a strange setback against Southern Miss. Special teams disaster despite pretty good numbers on offense. Empty backfield on 2nd and 10 for Chris Reynolds. Pressure, delivers a dart, and losing the football, I believe, was Elder across the middle. Pounces on it at the 49.
And Reynolds began to find Elder at the end of that second half. The slot receiver, you just come down and sit down in that void, show your numbers to the quarterback, and Elder has really quick feet when he gets the ball in his hands, but he certainly needs to secure it better than he did on the run after catch right there.
3rd and 4. In at quarterback is Dom Schaffner. Seen him on the field a couple of times tonight, including one for a touchdown pass back to Chris Reynolds. He'll run it straight ahead. Real estate, edge, first down. And Dom Schaffner escorted out by Tyreek Davis. Drive continues for Charlotte.
And if I was North Texas and saw Schaffner number 2 come into game, I would load the box with everybody that's on the field, because it typically is a quarterback design run, just like we saw there. Harbison became a lead blocker for his quarterback. That was a quasi fake, but the ball carrier was always intended to be the quarterback, Schaffner.
Schaffner loves to play the drums. It's a nice little wrinkle on the field tonight. The Charlotte coaching staff to have him some productive plays, including a touchdown pass and that first down run. Reynolds flings it down the field. Dollar incomplete, and a lot of contact. They were fighting for the football crossing the goal line. And Dollar nearly hauled it in. I think that is Upton Stout, the freshman.
Upton Stout did a fantastic job of A, not panicking, and B, breaking up the pocket, the catch pocket at the end of this play. If we get another look at it, watch at the very end. The receiver Dollar goes up and makes a tremendous high point on the ball, but stick with it, don't panic, and then break up the catch pocket. That's what you do in man-to-man press coverage, and Stout did a fantastic job on that play.
And you think about what Clint Bowen told us about Stout's ability. 1 year removed from high school football, he thinks he's got a chance at the next level by the time it's all said and done, and you can see why in a sequence like that.
And hopefully Stout just came down and got the wind knocked out of him, or got hit in a place somewhat south of the border, but it actually looks like they're looking at his right shoulder. But a tremendous finish on the ball, and then Stout comes down awkwardly on that right side. Dollar made a terrific play. It's called high pointing, literally going up and get the ball at the high point, and then the breaking of the pocket by Upton Stout. North Texas is running out of bodies on the back end.
And Lorenzo Thompson has switched over to offense from his cornerback position without the services of Jackson Gibbs tonight.
Officially, there were 3 healthy corners coming into this game for North Texas, and Stout was one of them.
Opening possession of the second half. Elder in motion. Now Thompson. All of that to go deep again. Rico Arnold breaking free with the catch, and they out at the 1. I thought they were going to rule that a touchdown. It was Victor Tucker that reeled it in. Arnold was right beside him.
Whitlock, I believe, was on the coverage. Tucker went vertical. All the bells and whistles were just to create that man-to-man situation outside and get Tucker on Whitlock down the field.
And it worked to perfection with tempo. Straight ahead for the touchdown for the 49ers. First touchdown in McEachern's career. Charlotte on the scoreboard to begin our third quarter. After the long reception by Victor Tucker, Charlotte in business and reaching pay dirt in quick fashion.
Well, Tucker does a great job of seeing the ball coming back and making the adjustment. And so many times on an underthrown ball, whether it's intentional or not, the receiver is looking back at the football. So typically the receiver plays the ball in the air much better than the defensive back Whitlock does in this particular case. Tucker, we haven't heard a lot of, that finishes on the ball real well right there.
Now, Victor Tucker told his head coach this week in practice as his team was advancing towards the red zone, "This is my domain." And he went out, scored a touchdown against the #1 defense. Came back to Coach Healy on the sideline, said, "I told you, red zone is my domain. The end zone is where I'm going to be this week." And he almost got there.
I love that kind of confidence in a receiver. As a quarterback, you want to hear those things.
Cruz is on for the extra point, splits the pipes. 28-7. Just underway in our third quarter. Victor Tucker finding a way. Charlotte with a 3-touchdown lead on the road and a good start for the 49ers. Back at Apogee Stadium, 28-7. The visitors from the Queen City leading North Texas. Kelly Stopper, Roy Philpott. An interesting sequence on that last possession.
Yeah, and Charlotte isn't opposed to going back to the well. You get your quarterback Reynolds outside. Dollar is vertical matched up on Stout, and Stout makes a great play at the end to break up that pass, but you come right back to it. A slightly different formation, and Tucker does an out and up, so he gets vertical in a slightly different way on Whitlock, but at the end of the day, it ends up in a big play. So coaches will do that. They will change formationally a little bit, but the concept is still the same. If it worked one play, let's come back to it, maybe change the matchup a little bit and see if we can hit the second one, and Charlotte does it right there.
Charlotte beat North Texas a year ago, 39-38 comeback fashion. And it was that win that helped propel the 49ers for their first ever bowl appearance. Their first year head coach Will Healy, and that is a mistake right there. Did the ball go out of bounds first? Before it was grabbed by North Texas, Torrey had it with a foot standing out of bounds.
But Torrey was already out of bounds, so I think that's actually a smart play.
Free kick out of bounds by the kicking team. The ball is placed at the 35-yard line, first down.
It's a kick out of bounds, and what Torrey did was a very, very heady play. It was questionable whether that ball was going to go out. So Torrey is out of bounds, grabs the ball, and now the ball is deemed out of bounds. That could potentially have just simply been a touchback. But Torrey is well coached in that particular aspect of the game. Well done.
Well, it's an interesting scenario because the feet come down almost at the same time. One is inbounds, one is out. But judging by the end result, they'll net an extra 15 yards or an extra 10 yards after the touchback, or what would have been the touchback rather. So heads up play by number 3. I don't know that I've seen that before.
And that's well coached, because that's a little nuance that you're not really that familiar with. And Torrey certainly knew about it because it was intentional on his part.
I'm taking your word for all of that. certainly ended up the way that he wanted it to. Ani off the back foot, the seam. Ball pops up in the air a couple of different ways. Fugate thought he may have come up with an interception for a moment. Number 1 in all white. Instead, it'll be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Jalen Darden had 9 catches in that first half, and he's going to the post, and the ball gets to him. But Darden just simply can't make the play, and Ani is back on the ground once again.
2nd and 10. Ani has his man, Deontay Simpson. That'll move the sticks ahead to the 50-yard line. So right at midfield, here comes North Texas.
And North Texas simply needs more efficiency all the way around. And when you get in the red zone, don't send the kicker out there. You need to score touchdowns.
Well, those 2 field goals that were missed from 31 and 32 yards out proving costly at this point. This time to the tight end, Jason Pirtle. I mean, think about what Austin Ani told us this week, Kelly. We are so close. And you watched the film against Southern Miss a week ago. So many long passes right off the fingertips. The yards were there, but the points really didn't come the way that they should have. Ani flings it, wants it all. Darden, end zone for the touchdown. Jalen Darden, his 2nd scoring grab of the night, number 8 this season, and he now leads the country in that category.
Well, we talked about that during the week, Roy, that Ani was very, very close to a lot of big plays, and we see 2 of them to Darden here tonight. And Shorter is typically the big play guy vertically, but he's been out, and there's a chemistry between the quarterbacks and receiving group on those deep balls that you have to get. And Ani is showing a little bit more of that here this evening.
Extra point is good. North Texas right back in it. Jalen Darden, if you're just tuning in, 10 catches, 210 yards, 2 touchdowns for number 1.
And this particular play came outside of the design. Ani is going to get a little bit of pressure. He eludes it, and then coverage on the back end breaks down. And Anton Williams is the safety right there that is the closest defender. But watch Darden. It's the hand up means I'm going deep. If I'm even, I'm leaving. And Darden was even with the defender right there, and he just continues vertical. And the quarterback at that time was going just a little bit right out of the pocket, and he has an arm, does Austin Ani. He doesn't lack that part of the game. Remember that, Roy. If you're even, you're leaving, and you can't let the quarterback down, and Darden doesn't do that very often. He goes and gets it.
Mid-season form tonight for Kelly Stopper. Dropping knowledge. And 1 yard back, chopped down at the 13. North Texas perhaps now a spark with its special teams. That was Nick Smith, a running back, with a tackle. Well, don't forget, coming up next week, Florida and LSU back at the Swamp. They've split the last 4 meetings. 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific on ESPN. Also the ESPN app, in a critical Southeastern Conference grudge match. Kyle Trask going to try to get back on track against the Bayou Bengals.
I think Trask knows what to get done. I think it's the Gators defense that needs to wake up.
It's been quite porous to start this season. Back on the field is Chris Reynolds, a former walk-on. Team captain will hand it off to McAllister. Bottled up after a gain of 4, maybe 5 on first down. Big possession now for both sides, Kelly.
Yeah, that Uncle Mo you referred to in the first half was living over on Charlotte's side of the field. I think he's meandering over here to North Texas as we speak. In order to fully grasp that momentum, North Texas's defense has to show up right here.
We'll fake it to McAllister, flip it out in the flats. And Elder, nifty spin move, first down. Stop near the 27. Michaelius Elder has been a weapon tonight for the Charlotte offense. Looks like a scat back as a receiver.
Yeah, he comes out of the backfield, and watch the quick feed. I mean, it's the balance, and then it's the quick feed. He's done it out of the slot position, catching balls over the middle, and then it's the yards after catch. And that time he started in the backfield and just ran a simple swing. And in a sense, it becomes a screen. It's a called play. Receivers go down and block. The ball's thrown behind the line of scrimmage so your receivers can engage before the ball's actually completed.
McAllister off the delayed handoff. Got a yard and a half. Larry Nixon with the tackle. North Texas like to keep Charlotte right where it is right now to try to make this a one-score game here in our third quarter.
Well, that's the way you do it. You have a good down on first down, and now it's officially behind the sticks. Anything more than 2nd and 7 is officially behind the chains, and that's the defense's goal. 2nd and 8, it typically is a pass down, and Reynolds typically in this situation is somewhere outside the pocket.
McAllister, Harbison join him in the backfield. McAllister gets it. The stutter step. Scampers ahead to the 34. It'll bring up 3rd down and 5. A stop by Howell.
I like the group of backs that Charlotte has. Harbison and that time McAllister. We've seen Calvin Camp a little bit more. Camp's in there more out of the 2 running back look, and he's more of the receiver type.
So number 2 checks back in at quarterback. You got to think that this time North Texas has an idea what Dom Schaffner wants to do. Let's see. 7 in the box. This time he hands it off. Nowhere to run, and he's going to be stopped short. On 3rd and 5, a gain of 3. It'll bring up 4th down.
We talked about it, Roy. When Dom Schaffner comes in, it's almost 100% run, and even though it's 4th and short right here, I don't believe that Will Healy will want to go for it as his punt team comes out. But I load the box as heavy as the box can possibly be, covering up every receiver, and that's what North Texas did successfully on that play. You have to force Schaffner to prove that there's a play in where he's going to throw the football, and we haven't seen it yet.
So Harbison picked up 3 on 3rd down. Play clock was winding down. And Rodney Burnett with the call, leading our veteran Conference USA officiating crew. And you mentioned Uncle Mo, clearly on the side of the mean green.
Yep, I just saw him sit down on the bench right here in front of us. He's been hanging out over behind the Charlotte team, and I don't know exactly what he looks like, but I'm pretty sure I just saw him sit down. And now where are the special teams snafus showing up? We had a really good special teams play on that kickoff by North Texas, and now we have the delay of game by the punt team that has nothing better to do than get lined up on time.
Bowler sends a wobbler in the direction of Darden. And the Karam out of bounds gives it back to North Texas. 2-touchdown affair, 7:11 remaining here in our third quarter. Darden is good. Moore is better, to the tune of 10 receptions for 200+ yards and 2 touchdowns tonight.
Well, Austin Aune is a very mature man, and he obviously knows who needs the ball. It's number 1, as much as you can possibly feed the young man. 210 yards, 10 catches, leaving the pocket. Where's number 1? There he is in the end zone.
Well, the all-time record in a single game for North Texas receiving, Casey Fitzgerald against SMU back in 2007, Kelly, put up 327.
He did not.
In 60 minutes of action. I don't know if that record's in jeopardy tonight.
It might be.
But it could be. We'll see. Austin Aune with work to do. North Texas back on the field with its offense. Here comes pressure. Aune bottled up and sacked. All the way back at his own 12-yard line. Romeo McKnight got there first, and a band of teammates joined him.
Horton, number 44, was the defensive nose guard that got the feet of Aune moving, and then it was just a group effort. Let's commune at the quarterback.
A 10-yard loss on first down. Play action for Aune on second down. And the pass sails high, incomplete, as Deontay Simpson lost his balance.
Simpson acted like he needed to go low to catch that ball. Just stand upright and catch it somewhere around the shins and then get yards after the catch. Really soft coverage by Lyon, the corner on that side on that play.
Movement up front. Let's check the penalty. This could be the quickest possession in the history of modern football otherwise.
Offside. Defense, number 44, in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty. Replay third down.
Well, you remember Horton that was chasing the quarterback on first down. He was in no man's land on that down and gave the offense 5 free yards.
3rd and 15.
Show of pressure, and that, remember, is the personality of Charlotte defensively. You can show it and come, or you can show it and drop. That time it seemed like they were going to bring an extra one to the right side.
Yeah, 6 in the box. Edge collapses, going deep and incomplete. Simpson was running open for a moment, but extra coverage quickly arriving. Nafees Lyon was back there.
Nafees Lyon does a decent job on Simpson vertically. I want to find out where number 1 is and make sure that Charlotte has learned how to cover him.
Momentum perhaps shifting back towards the 49ers after forcing the quick punt. Rodriguez sends it end over end. And a nice roll. Be stopped all the way down at the 26. The NBA Finals headed your way tomorrow night. ABC, ESPN Deportes, and also the ESPN app. And we remind you, Sunday night countdown, Sunday NFL countdown rather, 10 a.m. tomorrow morning to get your week started in the right direction. Randy Moss, top catches in college football today. And a lot more headed your way on a very busy Sunday. You have the NFL and the NBA tomorrow, Kelly.
What are you going to choose?
All of the above.
Miss Abigail may not want that for you.
I think she's probably good with it.
The look on your face, I guarantee you she's not good with it. And we call her Abby for short, but she's going to dictate what you do tomorrow, and don't kid yourself by saying anything different.
That's typically how it works. On first down, 49ers with a 2-touchdown lead, get it back. And Harbison punishing into that run. And check that, that'll be the freshman. No, that was Harbison. It's brought down by Whitlock. You got 22 and 25 back there for the Charlotte attack tonight. McGeecher and the freshman, Harbison, the grad transfer from Northern Illinois.
Remember, Harbison had 2 1,000-yard plus years at Northern Illinois, and he replaces Benny LeMay, who had 2 of those 1,000-yard years for Charlotte. And so you kind of swap one for the other, and you could see that ability on that last run.
Tucker gets it on the jet sweep to the edge. And a first down for Charlotte, drugged down at the 39 by Kylan Howell.
Number 9, Victor Tucker, to about the 40-yard line.
Tucker a bit slow to get up.
And there are a lot of guys staying down after plays. Guys gassed, guys beat up. The conditioning is highly questionable in college football because of all of the starts and stops and COVID protocol this and COVID protocol that. It's a difficult time to keep these young men healthy and on the field.
Tucker gets up under his own power. Caught the game winner a year ago against North Texas. Junior out of Miami Gardens, Florida. Well, Healy told us this week his growth the last 12 months has been that of our football team. His practice habits totally different. He's gotten so much better.
And he's a guy that can blow up statistically as well, and Charlotte could use that right now. He had 5 100-plus yard games a year ago.
5 to go in the third quarter. been spotting the tight end open out in the flats these plays the last couple of quarters. Instead, this time Elder deep down the field makes the grab. Unbelievable at the 15.
Charlotte actually had an extra offensive lineman in the game, showing unbalance to the right, which screams run play, and instead it's play action, and Elder gets by number 17 Gaddy, the corner down the field. Trickeration, the creative design, we've seen it out of Charlotte all evening.
You and I have been up at Boise State quite often the last couple of years. It reminds you of some of the tactics we've seen employed by that program on offense. Elder now over 80 yards receiving after his 5th reception, went for 46. Wide open, end zone, touchdown, Taylor Thompson. First score of the freshman's career. He was wide open. What was that about creativeness?
Yeah, and Thompson was what they call return motion. He was the motion guy. He's a freshman tight end. He comes in motion, and then he returns to the side he came from. The two receivers out there are going to disappear inside. You get a Q route back outside, and then it's just a probe for the coverage. With that pre-snap motion, does coverage sort out their assignments? And the answer was no, pertaining to North Texas on that play.
Taylor Thompson, 3 catches, 23 yards, and a touchdown. That last one from 15 yards out. And the Charlotte offense has been ultra impressive this evening here in Denton.
There's always a lot going on. The creativity to Elder, and then it's a design play once again with Thompson going in motion, and the result typically has been the same. It ends up somewhere in the end zone for Charlotte.
Taylor Thompson, the man of the hour, his first collegiate touchdown, had 5 a year ago playing Prattville High School down in Alabama. Good start that young man's career. And all smiles on the Charlotte bench. Why not? Leading by 21. Kelly Stopper, Roy Philpott back in Denton, Texas, Apogee Stadium. And every time it feels like North Texas is going to truly get back in this one, Charlotte defense has something to say about it. And so does Chris Reynolds, who's quietly putting together another phenomenal start tonight. 4 to go in our 3rd quarter. And from 1 yard deep, Torrey's bottled up, crossing the 20. It's Game 6, NBA Finals tomorrow night, 7:30. ABC, ESPN Deportes, the ESPN app, LeBron, Jimmy Butler. Let's get it on once again. Coverage starts with NBA Countdown, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Tip expected shortly after 7:30 tomorrow night. You hear the music, you know what time it is.
Is that going to Game 7? Come on, what you got?
It is not.
It is not.
I wanted
What's
to
all
because
that
I
Jimmy
love Jimmy Butler
stuff you've been giving me all week.
I'm just preaching the truth tonight. I think it's going to be a great game, but I expect the Lakers to close it out in honor of Kobe Bryant.
Black Mamba jerseys, I think, are coming out tomorrow, right?
Well, I think they were out.
Were they out?
They couldn't close it out last night.
Well, then they might put those away and do something different, but
it'll be fun to watch and see what happens. After the gain by Siggers, there goes Simpson. Deontay Simpson off to the races, far side, sent out short of the 20. Big pitch and catch, North Texas knocking on the door again.
And great ball placement that allows Simpson to have yards after the catch. Right on his face mask, and then you run out the backside. Ball placement led to that big play.
46 yards on the pass.
After a 46-yard gain, the quick strike goes to Lorenzo Thompson, the converted defensive back.
That play is not going to count because I think Will Healy was out calling a timeout, trying to give his guys
Prior to the snap, timeout. Charlotte, their first, 30 seconds.
I think it's just a defensive timeout, trying to give his guys a little bit of a rest. You think Will Healy sleeps much at night, or he burns high octane like the entire day?
You know, he told us late last night when we talked with him. You know, the team went and visited Arlington to check out Cowboys Stadium. They said it was great to be able to get some time with the guys in a relaxing atmosphere, but just talking to him, you could hear that, I don't want to say he was fatigued, but there's been a lot happening, of course. They try to get off this 2-game skid to start the season, and he's high energy to begin with.
Whew.
I don't think he does sleep that much,
No,
especially during the season.
He might be one of those guys that gets like 3 hours, and that's all you need. You know what I mean? He kind of puts me in mind of that, but he burns hot during the day. There isn't any doubt about it.
Had a fun conversation with his 2 defensive coordinators, Brandon Cooper and Marcus West. Mentioned date night with the Charlotte coaching staff. It's a big deal.
They told us not to go there because their wives are watching.
Well, we have to go there because that's what Will Healy's all about, trying to build the culture in this brand new program in the Queen City. Get to that story here in just a minute. Ani back on the field. He's got other things in mind. By a couple of seconds, and Darden takes a shot as he caroms out of bounds. They're going to call that a catch. Well, they'll rule it incomplete as he was out of bounds.
Darden gets up and appears to be healthy, so why don't you finish that date night story?
Well, this is what Will Healy wanted to do with his program as he became a head coach at Austin Peay. Just missed the playoffs there with the Governors. Now at Charlotte, wants the families to be a part of the program. So every week they have date night. Coaches get together. They all go out with the wives and enjoy. Bite to eat, perhaps an ice cold Coca-Cola. Been a little different with COVID protocols in place. Straight ahead goes Siggers for a short gain. It'll bring up 3rd down. But it's funny talking to the co-DCs. They said, well, sometimes it's not always good to have date night. Can't get as much film study in.
And Will Healy said that date night will do you so much more than anything you're going to see on a little bit more of watching the opponent. So there's probably a lot of truth in that.
Big play now on 3rd and 9. Flag on the field. They're going to stop this play dead in its tracks.
Yeah, this was a late snap, so it's going to be a false start on the offense.
False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
It's not good when the center, Mose in this case, who's a veteran, one of the 2 returning starters on that offensive line, even though he moved from guard last year into center this year. But sometimes the guy snapping the ball is the one guy that doesn't remember the snap count, and that's not good.
Nase Mose, the junior from Euless, Texas, Trinity High School. Play action on 3rd and long. Big play for the Mean Green. Tried to throw him open that time. It was Greg White into the boundary. Now 4th down upcoming. What do you do here if you're Seth Luttrell?
Well, it's 4th and long, or it wouldn't be that much of a decision because Mooney hasn't been that effective. Missed 2 kicks in that first half. Is he going to get another crack at it right here?
He is. Numeral 0 back on the field.
Because during halftime, Zach Williams, the backup kicker, who has 1 attempt on the year, was the one that was out there with the special teams coach practicing. But here's Mooney again.
Try to fake it here from 45 yards out. Let's see. Mooney 0 for 2 tonight. Toe meets leather. Off the crossbar and no good. The special teams for the Mean Green have been anything but.
Toe meets leather and leather meets the upright. 0 for 3. And that's obviously the downside of it, but the other part of it is the offense not scoring touchdowns. And Mooney hooks this one to the left, and the second one he pushes to the right from the get-go, and then he kind of divides it and bounces it off the upright in number 3. But the result is the same. No points. It's part Mooney that missed 3 field goals, but it's also the offense that's not being real effective in the red zone.
It was almost the double
Illegal
doink.
substitution. 12 players in formation. Offense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
I mean, you look at the total yardage tonight. Charlotte 446. North Texas, Kelly, has 400 yards and only 14 points to show for it.
A lot of bells and whistles in the game of football, but it's all about situational efficiency. Red zone in particular, as we see Schaffner once again in the game.
First and 15 from the 22.
Reynolds motions out. And more Laundry. Rhythm of this game coming to a screeching halt.
False start. Offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Dimitri Emmanuel, the left tackle, two-time all-conference player. He played right tackle a year ago, moved to left tackle, and just got the hiccups on that play.
Charlotte in control with possession. Reynolds back in as the quarterback.
No three.
Ringwood, the grab, and sent out crossing the 25.
People are at home, if you're wondering, as we see another flag come in real late, and I think this is going to be a unsportsmanlike on North Texas. It involved Ringwood, 81 as well.
Play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 81 of the offense. Penalties half the distance to the goal. It'll be second down. That's player 81's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
And Ringwood was the receiver that caught that pass, and this game is in disarray currently as Will Healy gives an earful to Ringwood. Takes the ball, simply hand it back to the official and call it good. Have the ball in your hand and you toss it over to the other team. That's not good.
Option. Lost the football. Mean Green, I think, jumped on it, and if so, what a huge play for North Texas and a costly mistake for Charlotte. Well, we haven't seen the option play unveiled until that sequence. And they're going to say Charlotte was able to get it back.
Very fortunate. It's a negative play nonetheless, and way behind the sticks, especially after that previous penalty. But this is the load option where the quarterback Reynolds just immediately goes to the end man on the line of scrimmage, options it forward to out leverage the defense, and McAllister couldn't corral that pitch that's up by the face mask, and a fortuitous bounce nonetheless. This is the kind of play that North Texas obviously needs to start making, and initially they had it, but I think it was Howell, number 34, had it in his breadbasket and just couldn't possess it in the end.
McAllister ripped it away at the last second. 3rd and 26. And the handoff to Harbison will net a couple as the third quarter winds down. Now the North Texas defense finds a way. After the field goal was missed, they'll get it back. Kelly, still plenty of time in this one.
And if North Texas is anything currently this season, they're explosive offensively. They might be slightly inefficient at when and where and how often that explosiveness is coming, but they're averaging 41 points coming to this game. It isn't like they don't know how to get it into the end zone.
Bowler standing at his own 1-yard line. Beautiful spiral. Simpson. And a flag on the field as Deontay Simpson is tripped up crossing the 45. There's been a dirty laundry fest here in the third quarter. Penalties on both sides.
Uncle Mo doesn't even want to choose right now. Neither
During
team
the
is earning it.
return, illegal block in the back by the receiving team, number 15. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
It's Trey Siggers.
15 on the left side right there. Pushing.
He didn't really have to even do that. The runner was already by him at that juncture.
So many times in special teams, there's boneheaded plays because a player doesn't think it through. First of all, you can't push in the back. Second of all, regardless of what I intend to do, is it going to affect the play positively? And Seeger should have known that that wasn't going to be the case right there.
Both teams in search of their first conference victory as DeAndre Torres bottled up by Tyler Murray. Time ticking away here in our third quarter after a gain of 3. More tempo from UNT. Well, that was a costly penalty, really. 20 yards in real estate were given up. Looking for the tight end. That pass is short, 3rd and 7.
And that's the inefficiency we're talking about. That's a gimme. You have a receiver setting down in the void in the zone, losing his feet, and the quarterback throws it to the ground. That was something that just simply shouldn't happen, should have been a positive play.
Across the middle, incomplete again. Roderick Burns, the intended receiver, on 3rd down, and with 3 seconds remaining in the third, 3 and out. Go to Mean Green on that possession.
And if Burns gets that ball against man-to-man, he's out the backside, and he might be getting to the end zone about right now. And there was pressure in Austin Ane's feet, and so it forced the errant pass. But sometimes as a quarterback, you have to understand that's the pressure that I'm going to feel lives right next door to a big play if I just stand in there and take it once in a while. And Ane threw to inaccurate pass at the other end.
Will Healy was quite pleased with that sequence on the flip side. End over end punt. And retreating to get it all the way back at the 10. 49ers. Hard hit short of the 20, and that'll be the final play of our third quarter. Well, Rico Arnold paid the price. Will the 49ers get it back to start our final 15 minutes? 35-14, the always energetic Will Healy, year number 2 in the Queen City. A Dabo disciple. He's looking pretty good so far tonight. It was a wild finish just 1 year ago between these two teams back in the Queen City. Charlotte trailed by 2 touchdowns to start the fourth quarter. And Benny LeMay got the party started, made it 35-27. 49ers then blocked a field goal. A couple of more touches for LeMay. 35-33 was the score. And then late, 18 seconds remaining, the game-winning touchdown, Victor Tucker. 39-38 the final score as Charlotte rallied late. And North Texas is going to try to do that here tonight to return the favor. 15 to play back in Denton. Kelly Stoffer and Roy Philpott. Charlotte with possession. The first down, and a handoff to Trey Harbison. That's a couple. Give him 3. And tackled by Nixon.
North Texas, we talked about, they're playing that in vogue defense currently in college football. 3 down linemen, 3 safeties, and then it creates a lot of versatility on the back end because you're playing a lot of defensive body types, as we see Dom Schaffner in once again, and the true quarterback Chris Reynolds split out to the left. But right now, there isn't a lot of run success even against 3 down linemen.
Ringwood in motion. Second down. And now Reynolds gets it back. Looking deep, flings it short and incomplete. Well, that time he tried to fire it back to the backup quarterback, Dom Schaffner, under duress. Good job by North Texas defensively.
Equal opportunity, creativity. We already saw it the other way around one time for a touchdown. Now it's a pitch back to Reynolds, who's going to throw it and makes a good decision at the end. So many times when you see a receiver with the ball in that situation, he doesn't know the decision to make in the end, and the decision right there was a quarterback knowing he should throw the ball away.
Again, reminds you a lot what we've seen at Boise State, the brand that they built.
What did you call them? You had a name for what Boise State does, and
the funk offense.
Yeah, that was it right there.
McAllister on the swing pass. Makes a move, stops short, multiple flags on the field. Let's check the penalty as a stop by Howell. I think this one's going to go against the 49ers.
Holding. Offense, number 81. The penalty has been declined. 4th down.
But I think you want to play for a coach like that has that kind of energy with Will Healy, but also a staff that calls those kinds of plays. And Mark Carney, I think, has called a brilliant game tonight as the offensive play caller for Charlotte. Couple of trick plays, using his backup quarterback, kind of spreading the wealth around, multiple running backs and receivers.
Yeah, and Mark Carney was the quarterback coach last year, but Alex Atkins, the OC, left to Florida State. So Carney is now calling the plays, and it certainly is fun to watch.
On the run, Simpson takes it back into plus territory. North Texas will take over. Outstanding field position. A quick touchdown changes the entire complexion of this 4th quarter. Let's see if the Mean Green can respond.
Yeah, and something as simple as the play that Deontay Simpson just made on that punt return, because it was a short punt, and Simpson made the decision to go up and catch it. No idea to tell where that ball would have ended up if Simpson doesn't go up and make that play. So now you already penetrated the 50-yard line. So you're right, Roy, a quick score here and all bets are off.
Around 8,000 fans expected tonight here at Apogee Stadium, a capacity normally of around 30,000. Masinani back on the field. Cross the way, and it's incomplete. Looking for Jalen Darden, who's been held in check for the most part in this second half. Coverage, Cedric Ursery. First time tonight we've called the true freshman's name out of Florida.
Cedric Ursery with the coverage.
And I was wondering what happened to Darden, and that's why you saw Darden in motion, because you can't double a guy that's in motion because you don't know where he's going to end up. And so they moved Darden around. Now he's at the slot to the top side. He's easier to double out of this situation.
Greg White dropped it and kicked it backwards.
And that's been the problem, is there isn't really a complementary receiving option to Jalen Darden.
Well, they certainly missed Jair Shorter, 6'2" redshirt sophomore. Hurt his ankle, probably out for the foreseeable future. And they're going to back North Texas up 5. Ogun Macon took off when he saw 49er cross the line of scrimmage. Boy, that was weird.
Nafis Lyon, the corner outside, was thought to be in the neutral zone. That's why the receiver started down the field. I don't know that the officials are actually going to buy this. Remember, if a defensive lineman causes the movement by jumping into the neutral zone, the offensive player can go, and it's on the defense. This would be interesting if they actually call this on a press corner outside wide.
Ogun Macon just took off.
Offside. Defense number 57, causing the offense to move. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
Saya Soto.
So it wasn't the press corner line, it was actually a defender inside.
And he made the receiver move all the way towards the sideline.
I guarantee you that the receiver was moving on the corner in front of him.
That's a big penalty. Instead of 3rd and 15, it's now 3rd and 5, and certainly 4-down territory for North Texas should it need it. He fires that pass out of bounds looking for White. Another penalty flag. Sloppy play in the second half for both sides at times tonight.
Illegal shift, offense. That penalty's been declined. 4th down.
4th and 5, Kelly. What do you do?
I think you have to go for it right here. I think you have to count on your defense, worst case scenario, to bow up if we don't get it. But I think North Texas, down by 21, can't afford to punt this ball away. We see Jalen Darden going in. He's going to end up clear out on the wide side to the top. I find a way to get number 1 the ball. It looks like he's going to be covered man-to-man currently.
And a timeout going to be called by Charlotte.
Timeout, Charlotte, their second.
We'll step aside with him. 4th down, big play upcoming. Apogee Stadium, Denton, Texas. The Charlotte lead is 21. North Texas in 49er territory, facing a 4th and 5 with Kelly Stoffer, Roy Philpott. Mean Green need this one in the worst way. Both teams looking for their first Conference USA win of 2020. Austin Aune, the former pro baseball player, 6 years with the New York Yankees organization.
And Darden is the slot at the top of the picture.
Aune has it, quick toss, incomplete. Contact over the back. Here comes a late flag, and that's going to be a first down.
Pass incomplete. There is
Tyler
a
Murray.
down on the play.
Coverage out in the flats against Jason Pirtle. And I think this is a good call. It came in late. It took a little bit of time to get there. Even if the pass was errant.
Highly questionable play call.
Pass interference, defense number 5. The ball be placed at the spot of the foul, automatic first down.
You have a receiver with 10 catches for over 200 yards, and whether this is pass interference or not, that play didn't have a chance. I'm going to throw it to a tight end split out wide in press coverage. That didn't make any sense to me.
Pirtle without a reception tonight.
He only has 5 on the year.
Pressure, Aune flings it out. There's Darden. Hop, skip, and a jump. He'll net about 2 yards.
I believe that's only Darden's 2nd catch in this second half, but I load it up right now to number 1. I make the defense prove that they can cover him, whether Darden is in the slot or on the move.
Gave him 3 yards on that completion. Aune going deep. Seam looking for White, and it's incomplete. Broken up. Double coverage against a 6'3 junior out of Georgia. Francisco got there.
Comanche Francisco is playing the middle of the field, and it's an inside post route with the safety in the middle. You can't throw that route. That's the second time that Austin Aune has tried to go to that route. The first time he overthrew it. That time the receiver makes a good play, or Francisco has an interception.
2 downs to get 7 yards. They won't need it. Darden has a first down and darts his way inside the 15. B.J. Turner stopped him, but Darden started to catch fire again.
See, there's one rule in offensive play calling. I don't go away from what's working until the defense forces me to do it. They haven't covered Darden all night.
Torrey, a jump cut, stopped inside the 10 by Anton Williams, the transfer out of Duke. And another penalty marker back at the 15. When every time North Texas starts to find a little bit of a groove, something bad happens. A lot of times it's occurred in the red zone or on special teams.
Illegal substitution, defense, 12 players on the field at the snap. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
So if the offense doesn't substitute, the offense can snap the ball whenever they want, and the defense doesn't get time to substitute. And you could see there were at least 2 defenders that didn't get all the way off the field.
There were 13 players that time. The playing surface for Charlotte. Darden in motion. Aune fires in his direction. He's got a first down towards the end zone for the touchdown. 3rd scoring grab of the night. His 9th of this young season.
If you're old enough, you watch Jerry Rice do this with the 49ers and Joe Montana or Steve Young throw it to him about 500 times. The quick motion back outside, and then it's simply in the flank, and you outflank the defense. You out-leverage the coverage just with sheer speed out of the motion, and that's what Darden did right there. Don't go away from your bell cow if the defense hasn't forced you to. Remember that. Write that down somewhere, Roy, would you please?
Well, I thought you were going to say, don't go away from this game just
that
yet.
too.
We got a 2-score affair. We got more than 12 minutes remaining. And one of the top offenses in the country with North Texas. Almost 600 yards per game. They are on target for that number tonight. And Jalen Darden has been the reason why.
Remember where Darden started. It's hard to cover him man-to-man. So what do? You put him in motion, and then the quarterback gets a quick peek if it's zone or man. And you can see the defender, Williams, is actually a safety-type guy that's chasing Darden, the best player on the field this evening. And obviously that's a mismatch, but let's don't complicate the game. 13 catches for 244 yards and 3 touchdowns now.
Good night for Austin Aune as well as a result of all of that production from number 1, Aune, the oldest starting quarterback in the FBS at 27 years old.
Redshirt sophomore.
I mean, he's going to be playing when he's 30.
There's some head coaches. Southern Miss's head coach last week in here was only 30, I believe.
Fair catch called for and made. Charlotte will get it at the 25, and now North Texas. Defense has flirted with big plays all night. See if they can find a way to get something done against Chris Reynolds.
Yeah, the baller needs to get going. And he's been effective tonight, usually on the move. He finds a way to make a play. That's the key. Like a point guard, distribute the football. If everyone is covered, go ahead and get your own shot. Be accurate when you need to. And right now he needs to be. He needs to be the playmaker that this offense is built around.
275 yards passing tonight. He's caught a touchdown. Done a little bit of everything in typical Chris Reynolds fashion. McAllister the handoff. Flag on the field of the 22. Howell met him right behind the line of scrimmage.
Dante Armstrong was a tight end in motion, and that didn't look good. Somebody was wrong, and I'm going to put it on Armstrong, the freshman tight end.
Illegal shift. Offense, number 81 and number 12 did not get set. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
And the guilty party correctly identified. Dante Armstrong 12, Ringwood 81.
Correction, the penalty has been declined. It'll be second down.
Yeah, there was a negative play on that run anyway, and so the interpretation is 81 hadn't got set, Ringwood, before the motion tight end Armstrong went in motion. So it essentially is 2 guys in motion before the snap, and that's illegal.
2-score game. Mean Green need a stop. McAllister plows over a defender and rumbles his way all the way to the 34-yard line. That looked like it hurt. McAllister laying the lumber.
Well, Quinn Whitlock is the corner that has that gap, and you don't want to see McAllister coming at you if you have that gap and you're a corner. That was brutal, and McAllister is a speedster, but he's 220 pounds.
He's on the field on 3rd and short. Guess who? First down. Nifty move, and there he goes. Aaron McAllister off to the races. And a touchdown for the 49ers. Number 5 can do it all tonight.
Well, we saw the power on the play before where McAllister ran Quinn Whitlock over, the corner that was somewhat tentatively coming up in run support. And then it's the quick feet, one juke on the safety, and it's sprinter speed to the end zone.
Hey, Will Healy did a nice job to lift that man off the turf there. What's he doing?
I don't know. He might have to get some treatment tomorrow.
The extra point is good. Our new score. Charlotte doubling up North Texas and Will Healy. Got to feel good after that last sequence, and Aaron McAllister is going to remember those two plays for the rest of his life.
We talked about the combination of power and then the little elusiveness, and then it's straight line speed. Running away from a corner right there, Deshaun Gadney, number 17.
John Davis got juked out of his shoes. And then McAllister, you mentioned the speed, a converted defensive back. A big play waiting to happen this season. 12 carries, 140 yards. He also, remember, caught that 71-yard touchdown pass in the first half.
And remember, Clint Bowen, the defensive coordinator, watch his power. Bam, right there. How about finish? It was all elbows, knees, and shoulder pad right there. But Clint Bowen, the defensive coordinator for North Texas, said, it's number 5 that scares me, and that's why. You saw it on 2 plays. It was run over somebody, and then it was run away from everybody. That's pretty impressive.
You can only imagine Charlotte hangs on to this game and wins it. Club Lit's going to show a couple of highlights of Aaron McAllister through the air, on the ground.
Club Lit.
Through defenders, around defenders.
Have you actually seen Club Lit? Have you witnessed it?
I've seen it. I have not experienced it. I know that the Charlotte program gets pretty stoked about it after wins, and they've yet to do it here in 2020. That could be changing here tonight.
Well, explain it to me. I haven't seen it. I've just heard about it.
Well, it's basically a big, let's say, after game celebration
in the locker room
where all the wheels come off, and
what is Club Lit?
The fun is in the winning, essentially. Club Lit, they're dancing, they're celebrating, they're.
So is that a name that Will Healy came up with, or is Club Lit a thing that those youngsters talk about these days? I didn't hear about Club Lit when I was trying not to dance back in my day.
That was a long time ago. Contact and nearly a one-handed grab. That's an easy pass interference call on Lance McMillan.
Lance McMillan had a handful of jerseys.
Defense number 4, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Austin Ogun-Macon nearly made the one-handed reception regardless.
We've shown the comeback that Charlotte had on North Texas a year ago. As we're going to see another look at that pass interference call. It's the left hand that grabs the jersey, and that's a pretty easy call. But remember what that comeback led to. It led to that series of wins that led Charlotte to a bowl game. So maybe that will happen all over again for Club Lit and Will Healy.
Ani to the air, dangerous throw, and it's going to be intercepted. Picked off by the 49ers. The far side rumble by Ben DeLuca, and a costly mistake by Austin Ani. And they may have Club Lit there on the sidelines before the end of this one.
Austin Ani throws into essentially double coverage. It's a go route, fade route outside, but the corner that had press coverage at the line of scrimmage continues with the receiver, and then Ben DeLuca is the safety on the hash that is just begging Ani to throw the football in that place.
First down and 10 for Charlotte.
That was pretty easy in the end for Ben DeLuca.
Look at Healy running right along with his defensive back on the sidelines.
Step for step.
Are you kidding me?
Okay, he squatted a 220-pound running back, McAllister, a couple plays ago, and then he runs with a defensive back, and he's gasped a little bit. He may have to go have a seat for a moment. High octane nonetheless.
Slow it down there, big man. Will, you got a couple of minutes left to try to close this one out. You love the energy. You love the enthusiasm. Play action. Rico Arnold. First down, Charlotte. And the 49ers want some more.
Number 8, Rico Arnold.
And that was a true run-pass option. It's the zone run inside. And Chris Reynolds is just isolating one defender. If he becomes a run defender, then you throw the slant in behind him.
Schaffner back on the field at quarterback.
Shenanigans. It's about time for Dom Schaffner to actually throw. It's been 100% run, usually quarterback designed run.
Well, it was, with the exception of the Charlotte special. Let's see if they design a pass play here. The big lead. Hand off to Calvin Camp. Keeps the play alive. Inside the 5 to the end zone for the score. Everything going the 49ers way here in Denton, Texas tonight.
For the 49ers touchdown.
And Charlotte running away with it.
This wasn't the same class as the Charlotte special. The quarterback, Schaffner, actually touches the ball to begin with, and then it's all about Calvin Camp. I think that defense for North Texas, who's been lacking bodies, they're tired, and tackling technique is the first to go when a defender gets tired, and you saw gaggles of it on that play.
'49ers, almost 600 yards of total offense. McAllister, Camp, Harbison, Reynolds. And well on their way to their first Conference USA victory in 2020. Largest lead of the night for the Charlotte 49ers. And last score by Calvin Camp. Couple of touches, 35 yards.
We knew there would be some points scored tonight,
yes,
but we thought there would be more on the part of the Mean Green. 49 out of the 49ers isn't a surprise. Just inefficient offense and shooting themselves in the foot has North Texas been once again.
And Cruz reaches the end zone. Monday doubleheader headed your way on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. Up first at 5 o'clock Eastern, Broncos Patriots from Foxborough. Then the Chargers and the Saints after that at 8 o'clock Eastern. Monday Night Football is back. Coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown. It all starts at 3 Eastern. How about Bill Belichick and the Pats with the early start up in the Northeast? That's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, and some COVID nonsense went through the Patriots facility as well, and it's great to see them playing that game.
Mean Green get it back. Austin Aune back on the field. Charlotte with its largest lead at 28. Tight end has it. That's Pirtle, and that'll be a first down after a gain of 13.
Complete to number 88, Jason Pirtle. To the 37-yard
Seth
line.
Luttrell has done such a good job here at North Texas. Inherited a 1-4 team and then went to 3 straight bowl games. Was in the conference championship game in 2017. And then last year was somewhat of a blip on the radar because I think there was some, Mason Fine was banged up. They hitched the wagon to Mason the last 4 years, really. And then Graham Harrell left to USC, so the play calling was shaken a little bit, and that off year, and it's extended into this bizarre 2020.
Aune's going to be sacked back at the 45. Romeo McKnight. After a loss of 4, it'll be interesting to see how these two teams continue their seasons. Only Charlotte building momentum after what appears to be a victory as DeAndre Torrey tripped up in plus territory at the 40 by Bennett. And this is what North Texas has done all night, approaching almost 500 yards of total offense. Numbers have been there. Production in the red zone, unfortunately for Mean Green fans, has not. Pirtle another grab. Here comes quick tempo.
Second down, 3.
That pass sails out of bounds, incomplete.
And remember what Seth Luttrell's offense is built on. It's built on the tempo that you just mentioned, but to go fast, you have to be efficient. And the run game is the quintessential way to be efficient. Run effectively on early downs and then you get that first down, and you get that momentum behind that tempo. And that's what's missing right now, is a consistent run game in order to go fast.
6 in the box. Auni's going to throw it. And rifles a shot back corner and incomplete. Well, that probably should have been caught for a touchdown. Auni tried to thread the needle to Greg White. Second time tonight that White has got a couple of fingertips on it without a catch.
And White gets deep eventually as his quarterback breaks to the right about there. So you just put on the afterburner, and remember that a right-handed quarterback rolling to your right, sometimes as the ball's spinning clockwise, it tends to migrate a little bit to the right, and that's what happened there. And Auni just left that a little bit too far outside for White to come down in bounds.
4th and 3. And a pass was dropped, and that has been a microcosm of this game for North Texas. Roderick Burns should have had the first down halfway through the 4th quarter. Instead, a turnover on downs for the Mean Green. Quick conversation between Seth Luttrell and his quarterback. Charlotte gets it back after this.
ESPN College Football is presented by Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville.
We asked Will Healy this week, mentors, guys that you try to pattern yourself after, and he said, you know, a lot of people know about my affinity for Dabo. You listen to him talk, and there's a little bit of that same Alabama slang in there, but a lot of the same principles. He mentioned Mac Brown, Scott Frost, all certainly make a lot of sense, but he's a guy to keep an eye on, not only this season, but in the near future. You turn around programs at Austin Peay and then now at Charlotte, year 1, going to a bowl game. And, you know, Kelly, I think just as impressive as Will, his coaching staff, as we got to know Mark Carney a little bit this week, and his co-defensive coordinators, Brandon Cooper, Marcus West, who are not fans of date night right now, but I'm sure will be after a win next week.
You can't keep beating that dead horse, because both Marcus West and Brandon Cooper weren't really buying the date night situation. They wanted to watch tape, but that wouldn't be pleasing for their wives to actually hear the reality of that. And if they're watching, you just said it like twice, and I just repeated it a 3rd time.
Schaffner, the full head of steam, plows his way ahead to the 40. Upton Stout was on the wrong end of that collision, but you get the sense of kind of what Coach Healy brings to the table and what he's about. And he's only 35, so there's a lot of football still ahead of him and probably more learning to do along the way.
Yeah, and he doesn't call the plays on either side, and he no doubt has something to do with game planning and such, but what he brings to the table is energy and his personality, and that's really the glue that this program has going for it right now.
On 3rd down, Justin Jeffrey moves over to the slot. Gives straight ahead to McGeecher. He'll have first down yardage. It's interesting you said that. One of the things he told us, we asked him, what did you learn about yourself in your first year coaching Charlotte? And he said, well, the big thing, of course, is culture. And the one thing I figured out pretty quickly, if you take a single day off away from that culture, it's going to get you beat.
Interesting. No doubt.
And I think it's those kinds of lessons along the way. They're only going to make him a better coach. And you know, he's off to a pretty good start.
We hear a lot about culture. Kind of share what that means to you. How does a coach establish the right culture in a program?
Well, it's off the field. 5:30 remaining. We mentioned date night. I think that's a part of it, involving your family. That's something that Dabo Swinney's done a lot at Clemson, that, you know, keeps guys like Tony Elliott, the offensive play caller, or Brent Venables there for the long haul. But I think involving family, telling guys to go home, have dinner with your wives, your kids, instead of watching an extra 2 hours of film that's probably not going to do you any good.
The whole coaching industry could use more of that.
Yes.
The quality of life so often, because you're a coach that feels like your opponent is still watching tape, so you watch tape. And there's a moment of saturation where you're getting nothing out of it, but you feel obligated to do it anyway. And the only fallout is that your wife and kids aren't seeing you.
Keechern straight ahead's got another first down. I think it's also about how you recruit players and looking at their character coming into your program. They call it PEEP, P-E-E-P in Charlotte. Passion, energy, enthusiasm, and positivity. That certainly sounds like something you would hear from a Dabo Swinney or a Scott Frost or
Will Healy.
You
would hear it from Chris Reynolds, his quarterback, too. I think they might belong to the same lit club.
It's Kenneth Dotson, the injured Mean Green player. So an injury timeout, 4:29 to go. 49ers in command in Denton. Well, the last game of your college football weekend wrapping up here in the Lone Star State. What a wild weekend it has been. Kelly Stouffer, Roy Philpott back to wrap it up here at Apogee Stadium in Charlotte, on the verge of picking up its first win, its first conference win in Conference USA of 2020.
Returning play, 1st and 10 at the 42.
As Kenneth Dotson was helped off the field and into the tent during that last break. Hope he's doing better. Keechern sent down at the 40. I mean, this is why we love the sport, to see days like today where Texas A&M gets its first huge win under Jimbo Fisher, and Alabama scores 60+ against Ole Miss and basically needed every single point to beat the Lane train, and not to mention Missouri upsetting LSU. We just saw during the break, our friends over on the SEC Network were able to call a 24-2 game with a team that runs the air raid, and the team that ran the air raid tonight scored just 2 points.
2 points.
Kentucky beat Mississippi State 24-2, which, what are we doing when the air raid gets grounded to that level?
20, Calvin Camp
2
on
weeks
the carry.
removed from upsetting LSU in Baton Rouge of all places, the defending champ. So, hey, college football is back. There have been games that have been postponed. We get it. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be clean. But even watching and calling this game tonight, it does put a smile on your face. And that's even something that Seth Luttrell talked with us about this week. You know, people don't realize what a blessing it is to actually get out and play this game that we all know and love. And he goes, really, you know, we went to spring break back in March, left in early March, and by the time we got back, everything was canceled. And we didn't see anybody for several months like most of the country. And he goes, the fact that we're playing, and this is our 4th game to start the year at home, you know, it's a miracle on some level.
Yeah, and both of these teams have been whacked by COVID-19 and then the subsequent protocol and contact tracing, and neither of these coaches complained about it because they realized that essentially everybody's in the same boat, except when you get into group of 5 situations where your depth is less to begin with, you can be ravaged in one position group or the other, and that's happened with both of these teams, and it's happening defensively with North Texas as we speak. So the amazing work that it takes for these games to even be played is pretty substantial.
Timeout, Charlotte. That's their 3rd.
49ers will call a timeout as it's time now for our AT&T 5G best moment from today. Kelly Stouffer, what was it?
Well, it was the trickeration, the first touchdown, the snap back to Riddles, who pitches it to Schaffner and then ends up catching the football. It was a double reverse, and you could see Riddles sneaking out of the backfield, and Schaffner finds him. Really well designed to begin with, and that creative design was a theme throughout this game. It's the handoff going what appeared to be a stretch run. The backup quarterback was the slot receiver to the left side, and it was well designed. That was a sign of things to come. Little did we know.
2:01 remaining, and Charlotte content to just kneel the clock out and call it a night, picking up its first conference win of the season. Your other big takeaways from today: Clemson crushed Miami at home when a lot of people thought Miami maybe would challenge the Tigers. We mentioned that the Lane Train gave Nick Saban, the elder statesman in the SEC, all that he could handle. What are some of your other takeaways from the weekend?
I was really interested to see the North Carolina-Virginia Tech game, but then there's the announcement in pregame that Virginia Tech was minus, I think, 14 players due to the COVID protocol once again. But that game ended up 56-45 in a decimated Virginia Tech team. So I'm not buying what people are saying about North Carolina currently. I mean, they scored a lot of points, but they didn't defend many people, and I'm just not buying what I'm seeing out of Sam Howell in this second season yet.
Well, he put up the numbers today, but to your point, the defense has been porous, much in the same way you and I have talked about Florida on air the last couple of weeks. Florida, a victim here in the Lone Star State to Texas A&M earlier today.
Yeah, and from what I understand, it was particularly the secondary for Virginia Tech that really took a hit pregame, and you can feast on that when you're putting in people right at the last moment. And that's the amazing thing to see. These coaches talk about not knowing literally who you're going to have when the game starts. If you hear something on Friday and then you begin to hear the results of more testing, and it's an amazing set of circumstances that college football is dealing with, and the country is dealing with, obviously.
Well, big win for Charlotte on the road. Club Lit returns as Will Healy trots across the field to talk to one of his mentors, the head coach at UNT, Seth Luttrell, and two good friends with some kind words as Seth Luttrell will go back to the drawing board this week for a road trip to visit Middle Tennessee. And head coach Rick Stockstill, a big win for the 49ers tonight. Our final score, 49-21. Charlotte will improve to 1-2 on the season as North Texas falls to 1-3. A big game for Chris Reynolds. Austin Aune, oldest quarterback in the FBS, back to the drawing board as well. So they look to get back to their winning ways coming up next week on the road. Good crowd, great atmosphere, and a big-time win for Charlotte. 49-21 the final score for Kelly Stoffer and our entire hard-working ESPN crew. I'm Roy Philpott saying good night from Denton, Texas. This has been a presentation of ESPN.